Hello and welcome back. We are here for the podcast. It has returned. It is myself, James Williams, aka the Pink Pig, and Derek.
It's too high.
Yeah, it's too high. You're disappearing. I think I was on some calls with some people today who had just their tops of their foreheads showing on camera. Anyway, by popular demand, or no demand whatsoever, we are back for the podcast with a little bit of a change in format. We're going to try and do the podcasts before races, yes, before this particular race. So hopefully you tune in during your practice as you're preparing for the Super Sprints or Taco Tuesday. As always, you can ask us a question in Discord and we will endeavour to provide a response, or you can email us on formularacingligue0@gmail.com. Our website, as ever, is www.formularacingligue.co.uk, where you can catch up on latest things such as stand-ins, calendars, and also the FRL app. If you're listening for the first time and have no idea what we're talking about, and you're on PC, please go to simgrid.com, click on hosts, and click the first one that's at the very top, because that's us. And be sure to tune into one of our events. So this will be a bit of a mismatch of a schedule. It will be very rushed, but we will try and improve it as the weeks go by. We are planning to do this every week until the end of the Super Sprint season. So this is round 4, so we have another 3 rounds left. My stream will go glitchy when people join the server because effing liveries.
It's not quite a potato you have, but it's a bit of mid-grade.
It's a mid-grade, yes. The joys of PC, where you have to have a complete and utter data center sometimes to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Especially ACC is very, very processor hungry.
Yeah.
Surprisingly high processor, especially since it's graphic hungry as well. But we get by.
I get by.
The thing about it is, if you're not streaming, most computers will run it no problem. Anything with a 4 gigabyte graphics card will run it no problem. You just won't be able to stream your racing. Right.
Well, I do my best not to stream my own personal racing, because nobody ever wants to see me crash into people. But I do obviously
crash into me mostly.
Yeah. Well, we will probably go into that at some point in the next 45 minutes. But if you are watching the race tonight, you don't need to change channels. You don't need to go to channel 5. You can just stay with us, and the cast will continue into the race as per the title: Super Sprint, Timpsons Super Sprint Season 4, Rain 4, Misano, and Podcast Return.
Podcast Return. Whether you really want it or not, you asked for it, you're getting it.
Yeah. If you are a PC driver as well, make sure you check in the announcement. We've just sent a feedback survey which is shaping our seasons for next year. So please give us your opinion, your honest opinion, and then we can look to see what we can make happen, because there's already been some changes on both PC and PlayStation in terms of the driver rating. PlayStation have Pro, Pro-Am and Am. So you're split into Tier 1, Tier 2 or Tier 3 for Taco Tuesday based on that. PC, we always have to try and go one better. So we've got Pro, Silver, Pro-Am and Am. And with the aim of next season of at least trying to provide 4 tiers, so you are racing against people who are your equals. I think I've admitted myself the split for rookies was a bit wrong this season.
I think the Pro-Am and the Am being 2 separate tiers.
Yeah.
Would work out better.
Well,
I think it might be difficult to actually get 4 servers. That would be the end goal eventually, is have 4 servers.
Yeah.
But I think at the moment, I think if we can have the Pros and the Silver in the same server, and the Ams and the Pro-Ams in the same server, then we are leaps and bounds ahead of what we were last year.
Well, yeah. The issue was, so with the old hot stint time, it was 2:19.5 at Spa, average over 7 laps. With Barcelona, it was a 44.5, and there are not too many people who can go faster than a 44.5 in 1 lap, never mind over 7 consecutive laps.
Especially on a track that's not consistently used.
No, but it should be, because it's a great track.
I don't mind that. There's tracks that I hate more than that, like Hungaroring, that should be stretched off the face of the earth.
You don't like technical tracks?
I don't. No, that's not actually true, because there are tracks that I like, but Hungaroring for some reason I just can't get hold of. Misano's another one that I can get an okay time, but I just don't feel comfortable driving it. There's no comfort level, whereas I can run around Bathurst and not hit the wall one time.
Yeah. Well, I did Formula V on iRacing at Bathurst, and it was the best experience of my life. It was amazing. And the fact that
that was last week?
That was 3 weeks ago. And you could chuck it around, and then it was. I know last week was Road to Atlanta. This week is Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, which I'm looking forward to attempting after tonight's race.
I did tell you about Road America or Road Atlanta when you first started. I was there the night you were trying to learn it, and you cursed it upside down. You were not enjoying it. You didn't see it. You thought you would never enjoy it.
No,
and I think it was a couple of days later and you went, I really like this track.
Do you know what? It's because there's so many blind corners. Sector 2 and 3, you could do. I was going down that long straight. I was having a vape. I was quite happy.
You can walk off and go to the toilet if you've got cruise control. It's a long straight.
So Smiley says, so early, you two SHIT the bed.
Yes.
Yes. Well.
No. This is the podcast, Smiley.
It is the podcast. I'm trying to fit it into my ever chaotic schedule of life.
You've heard of the roar before. This is the podcast before.
Yeah, you look very relaxed, El, as well.
I know. I'm trying to put out that relaxed persona so people are quite happy to watch us.
Well, I got a little bit of chest hair hanging out, so I might get a medallion for next week to stick it there. Top news: I've upgraded my heating system.
Yes, you now burn to death instead of freeze to death.
No. So, if anyone can see this thing, the alien in the corner, this used to burn the side of my face when it was on, and it only heated up the top half of my body.
Legend says that's how James lost all his hair.
I call that marriage number 1. However, see if I can. Can you see this little tiny thing by here?
Fletcher wearing pants.
No.
You can't just see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
With a smaller screen. So.
Yeah. So there is a tiny heater which is about 15 centimeters tall. And I got it in my office. This is my office, by the way. About 8 o'clock one morning, it was 2 degrees. Within 30 minutes, it was 20 degrees. Life is good. My heating
20?
bill.
That's summer weather.
Well, it's not.
So
I came back in here at 10 to 7. And it was 12 degrees, and it's already 20 degrees. My life is complete. There's nothing else I have to achieve to be able to get this. Now, I'm just happy. So we will try and cover as much of the stuff that's happened since the 11th of December as possible. The return of the patron draw will be...
Was it the 11th of December, was it?
Yeah, I swear I saw it was the 11th of December.
I think we were going to start back on the 11th of January, and that got messed up, but I'm pretty sure we only missed 1 week of December.
Did you? Oh, okay. I thought it was...
I might not be right. I could be full of garbage.
I saw somewhere it was the 11th of December, so anyway. We're back.
Yes.
So, as you can see in the background, we have the super sprint practice going on. There's 46 minutes left of it, not 58. And we're waiting for numbers of drivers to rock up. We're apparently getting 39 on the grid at Misano, which might be interesting. Taco Tuesday, we'll have a little bit look at the calendar shortly. But in terms of Misano, this is what we have in store for you. Derek, do you want to pronounce some of the corner names, no?
We'll see what happens.
Right, okay. So, the start-finish line in Misano goes into Variante de Parco, or the corner of the car park, Curva de Rio, down a long straight into this hairpin, which is the Curva Coquiera. Then you go into the Curva Tramonto, down the long straight, which has Covone on there, into another horrible hairpin, Curva de Caro, into the final turning, which is aptly named Curva Misano. So that's a little bit of a lap, guys.
So
we don't want to go on there. We want to go back on here.
I was going to read them.
No. We can... Do you know what? We can try and get a game which is named that track by the corner name.
You know, a better one than that, because I'm not very good with names.
That's why it's so fun.
Pictures. The HCC done a competition a while back where they tweeted out pictures of corners.
Yes.
And asked you if you could guess it. That might be a good game.
It could be a good game, but that requires work and effort beforehand. Something which we're not famed for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better to be lazy than productive.
Yeah, so at least then I could sit there and Google corner names of Hungaroring, and then kind of go, oh, it's Hungaru Corner. Which track does it relate to, Derek? And then we could play a little game like that. So that could be something which we could do for future ones. So we did promise, or I did promise, that we would have a look at the stand-ins for respective series, and I think it's only fair that we try and we first of all show this, which is Formula Racing League almost at 2,900 followers with a whopping 115 events. Someone in the SimGrid server sat there and tried to work out how many followers per events we get, and we were like the lowest. I was like, well, that's because we retain drivers. Lies. So in terms of where is Taco Tuesday, let's have a look at Taco Tuesday. I've not looked at the PlayStation results. on here before. So
Keddy's time at the moment is a 1:34.2. Mr. Smiley was asking in the chat, sorry.
we'll have a look at that. So I think this
Yeah.
is just tier 1, which has Mogs in P1, Morex, who I remember from last season appearing constantly on the podium pictures in P2, and David Jr. in P3. So all stand-ins should now be on SimGrid, I believe, but this is just tier 1. Where's tier 2? There it is. PS4 Taco Tuesday tier 2. And to answer my question a few moments ago, what track they're at, so we got Liam Knott in P1, Nick K in P2, and R2R G Harvey 4 in P3. And what track are they at? What's the date?
Today's date is the 31st of January 2023.
So they're at Silverstone tonight.
Another one of the tracks that I'm not too good at anymore. However, when I first started ACC, it was one of my favourite tracks, and I was quicker than both Chica and Chris. And I don't have it anymore. Just a bit of useless information for you.
It is. Also, if you're trying to figure out why, because I was trying to figure out why there's results with lines crossed through them, is because PlayStation have introduced this horrible thing called drop rounds.
The what?
They've introduced drop rounds.
Drop it? Who's this? Simgrid?
No, PlayStation have, due to a driver's vote, have introduced drop rounds into their series. So it only takes, it removes their worst result. So after round 1, everyone's just got their best result from the first 2 rounds.
Okay, so you might have to explain that a bit better. I'm not understanding.
So you race 7 races in a season. You finished 1st for 6 of them, and 10th for 1 of them. Your 10th result gets taken away, and you just get every single race out of the 6 that you've won as your total points.
So are they taking away your worst race?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So for me, so far this season in the Friday races, Suzuka was my worst race. I finished last.
Yeah. So you won't.
So currently that would be the one that would get dropped.
Yes.
I didn't have one that I wanted worse. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get to choose which one?
No, it's automatically done. So for Taco Tuesday tier 3, you've got Bazza B91, the Slayer 23 in P2, and Merchant Seaman in P1. So he's doing.
Sorry, I'm sorry about laughing. I just watched Woody come round the second to last corner.
Yeah.
Lose it, take out the signs, and then slide backwards into the pit, smashing off the walls.
What do you remember when we were
definitely
doing?
worth a good laugh.
Do you remember when we were doing? Was it New Year's champagne race at Misano?
Yes.
And in the chat, Chris Sauter, Woody, and somebody else were. And you were
drift
trying.
Competition?
Yeah, to try and do a drift competition for the last corner.
Yeah. Mine would have been the best drift if I hadn't gone all the way off the track.
So in Taco Tuesday on PS4, still going strong. Probably one of the only places still doing PS4 racing, I think. You got Fireblade, who has a PS5 in P3, Ice Dude in P2, and Zombie Dom currently in P1. Linkler in P4 at the moment. I think there's a crew of friends who still want to race together, which is which I think is very nice on PS4, even though some of them have got PS5s. So I think that's quite nice of them. So let's have a. Well, I'm going to quickly flick and see if I can get the track walk up for Silverstone very, very quickly, and then we can try and see if we can do it. So here's the Silverstone track walk.
Still says Misano.
Yeah, no, give me a second. So Silverstone, probably one of the most famous racetracks in the world. Go through
I've never been there.
Cops, Maggots, Beckett's, then down the Hanger Straight, into Stowe, then into Club, and this is the F1 start finish straight, and turn 1 is Abbey.
Yeah.
And then they don't. I think that's the Hanger Straight, isn't it? And then into Luffield, and then down the start finish straight and that's a lap
Yeah,
of Silverstone.
believe the hangar straight's long when where the green starts.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
Hello, Ryan.
Somebody's just jumped in.
Ryan,
Hello, Derek.
do you want to jump out for a minute while we finish the podcast?
Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
You're banned.
It was only because they kind of pushed you up into the top left-hand corner of the screen.
Yeah, we couldn't see anyone.
Um,
That's temporary. We will get that fixed.
yeah, this
Maybe.
is
Maybe.
this yeah, Hangar before Stowe, Wellington before Luffield. Smiley
Yeah.
says, but we make it up as we go along. We're FRL.
Of course. And as I said, I have no idea what corner names are called. I just know what gear I need to be in and when to accelerate out of. That's all I need.
Occasionally.
I generally get that part right. It's just whether there's too much acceleration, sometimes you spin.
It's the problems of trying to figure out where. Let Ryan be on the podcast. It's not, the issue is, Smiley, I'd have to adjust the scene which I have for Derek to actually show Ryan as well. I would love Ryan on the podcast. I do not deny this, and we'll make sure he's on for next week. How about that? And we'll try and get Mr. Goswell back on again because he was meant to be the guest before.
Yeah. I need to check with him on what days he's available. That's the thing, because originally when we were setting up for the Wednesday, he was working the Wednesday, but off on the Tuesday. So he's now changed to working on the Tuesday and not the Wednesday. So I don't know if he can make it or not. We'll find out as time goes by. It's a lot of waffle for nothing there, but hey.
Yeah, it was. So let's do our random number generator to try and figure out this week's lucky winner. We're going to start again at £5 English.
Starting over from scratch.
Yeah, we'll start over from scratch. I will work on a flashier tool, and that's what that's what the actress said to the vicar. So I keep wanting to share you, Derek, rather than. So this
No!
is.
Stop!
This is our.
Ugly and fat enough without being a big face on screen.
This is our random number generator for this week only. You can see the lower limit is 1, the upper limit is 999. Remember, the lucky winner receives £5 English. So I'm gonna generate, and there will be no suspense at all. So it is number.
Is this the one that CRISPR used, or have you just found your own?
I just found my own. So the winner is number 81.
That was awful quick. I've not got anything up to do with the website. Find out if that's a winner or not.
Well, let's try and have a look. So let's do.
Oh, you're going to have a look. Okay.
Let's do it live.
Yeah. So 81. I'll remember 81.
Right. Okay. So these are our wonderful sheets, which help decide everything.
I see an 81 right away.
No, that's not the one we want. Patrons.
No? You're on the wrong page.
So
somebody was about to give money.
Adam Kaler has won £5 English.
Who is it?
Adam Kaler has won
Adam
5.
Kaler.
A Kaler 81 has won £5 English, and he's a diamond patron, as you can see on the screen. Will lives in a spreadsheet, and he's currently in there at the moment. So,
so is he? He's from America.
Australia.
Australia. It's got an American flag next.
Oh, well, we'll have to double check that then, because I thought he was Australian.
Yeah. He might want to be American. He'll get more money out of it.
Yeah.
Because I think the American dollar is not as strong as the Australian dollar at the moment. I could be wrong. It's been so long since I dealt with it.
Right, sorry, I'm just playing with the personal best session's best relative. So I was just playing with the background to show some of the laps that have gone in. As Smiley was asking, so Keddy has gone with a 33.787. He's currently 5/10 quicker than Bjorn's Klassen's. Nigel O'Brien is in P3. Adam Brown, aka Fresh Bristles, P4. Blanchett, P5. Thompson, 6. Magic, 7th. Wilk, 8th. Krishnaider in 9th. And Salazar, Chesney Salazar has returned in P10. So hopefully, having the race in action behind our beautiful faces is an improvement to your evening. So
Tell you what, Thompson's picked up his pace in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he?
yeah, but he's going to crash out in turn 1, 2, or 3.
I'm glad you got confidence in the boy.
Am I wrong?
It could happen, it may not. I was actually surprised he finished in 8th at Indianapolis on Friday, considering how much I heard him complaining in the chat about how much he'd been taken out.
Well, that's what tickets.
But and saying that, Indianapolis was quite a good race because I went to the back twice and managed to get back up to 16th.
I got so Chris Smiley has a theory, or Chris Jones, sorry, has a theory.
Smiley has a theory.
That James always finishes 10th. No matter where I start, I always finish 10th.
Your driver's rating, we were looking at your driver's rating with the guys today, and I could agree with that.
However, on Thursday, I got lapped by everyone, including 10th.
But you're in the Audis for that one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a very slidey track. Surprisingly, I was with the Nissan that I'm driving. I had a harder time in the dry than I did in the wet. The car felt more planted than it did in the dry.
So Chris says, and you still managed to finish 2 laps ahead of me. Even though I was lapped by 10. I honestly wanted to cry. I as soon as the race, I pulled off to the. Do you know as the pit lane for Indianapolis kind of goes 2 turns before the end? So
on the second to last lap, the last turn.
Yeah, so I pulled off onto the grass. I could see the leader 15 seconds behind me, so I pulled off miles away from everyone else. I saw the leader go past, and a couple of cars followed him. And I got back onto the track. I went absolutely full throttle, made sure nobody was in the wall or anywhere near the wall in front of it. Let go of my steering wheel and just went BAM! And that's what I felt about the Audi after that race. I love the livery that Kenny's done for me, but I bloody hate the car.
Yeah, your good friend Kenny's got a lot to answer for on that one.
He has indeed.
I think that was a little intentional. Because now when you come out of the Audi to go into another car, you won't hate it.
No, I won't. I won't hate this game as much as I currently do. So we got
that was his punishment for you moving to iRacing for a couple of races.
Well, the only thing it's doing is making me go there more. So we've got 25 drivers in the server at the moment.
Yes.
We have 30 minutes left of the podcast. We've reviewed the current PlayStation standings. We've had a track walk of Misano. We've had a track walk of Silverstone. We've done the patron prize draw. Should we have a look at the standings for PC?
Can do. What standings do you want to see?
Well, I can get them up.
Oh yeah, you're going to have to get them up because I can't share them on Discord.
Yeah, let's have a look at Derek in a close-up view again. Hello, Derek. So, as we're in the super sprints, we may as well start with these. So every Tuesday night we race super sprints, which is 2 25-minute races with no pit stops. Nopak's imperiousness got slightly put down in the last race. He only managed to finish second.
That's disgraceful from him.
To be honest, I was really disappointed in him. I was going to write him a note. So Thomas Nopak is in P1 with 243. Vincenzo Senatore P2 with 226. Skylar Loverink in P3 with 221 points, and that is the pro section. In the AMs, I'm not going to be surprised if I was expecting to see Bjorn Claessens at the top, but it is Gunther de Portere in P1
I
with
think Claessens missed a couple of races, did he not?
Where is he?
I think he started off in the rookies only, and then out there he has up there, stop 21st.
Oh, 18th. Oh, right, okay. So he DNF'd, 4th, no show, 4th
okay,
and 1st.
so he was up, yeah.
Yeah. So we got Gunther in P1, Gavin Taylor in P2, and Chris Fielder in P3, Alan Brown and Ryan Blanchett P4 and 5. Da, 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 da.
If you go back to pros real quick, just for a second, well, never mind, let's just talk about it. I think the biggest thing that Northwick's got going for him is his consistency. I've seen battles between Loverink and Sanatori with him, but it's the fact that he can consistently keep on doing the same while they're having little minor issues and accidents
Well, yeah.
that gets him through.
Skylar Loverink got killed at turn 1 in race 2, I think, last week. And that dropped him down. Vincenzo Senatore is the bridesmaid constantly at the minute. He's going to want to be the bride this sooner rather than later. So let's hope that Senatore has a good night. In terms of the rookies, so Tier 1, the best series in FRL without bar none.
I think it is. At the moment, still. I mean, don't get me wrong. The other series are fun, but if I had only one to pick from, it would definitely be rookies.
That's what I did. So we got Giacomo Tessera in P1 on 239, Javier Gonzalez, who won last week, on 237, and Federico Ingrosso in P3 on 217 points. It's like the Italian invasion, isn't it? With a Spaniard in the middle. Interesting.
Scroll down a wee bit so people can see their names if they're a wee bit close.
So you got Longdon, Mari, Markov, Ongari, Harry Hottie, Zillow, Tudor, that one, Ricardo, Christian Butcher, Chica, Sauter, Anna.
I was actually, I think she's got I think Anna's got problems with her pedals, but I have been a little disappointed in the fact that she's not higher up.
Well, I think it was the pedal issues.
Yeah, I think it's a pedal issue, but because some of the laps you see her put in are crazy.
Yes, but yeah. So in Tier 2, ironically, we got Bjorn Claessens in P1 with 222 points, followed closely by Bob Broughton, or Broughton, depending on where you're from.
Yes, Big Broughton, if it's similar to my name, Broughh, Broughton to me. But I don't know how he would pronounce his name. Not sure.
Robbie Robstra in P3, Rick Kane and Danny Sixups, and if we scroll down we can see Derek in P8. And then we got...
And it's bloody Suzuka that's done my whole thing in.
Yeah. And then we got Woody, Domikos, Dave Smith, Daniel Lopez, Jaco Wapanier, Marco Pizzuti. Craig Hill has just come across from PlayStation, so he's going to be joining us for this week's race. So that is our current Tier 2 section. And then if we go to Pure Sim Gear GT3 Friday, and the stand-ins. So apparently Brizzle says at least watching the podcast saves tyres. So we've got Mattia Nichira currently in P1 on 118 points, 1 point ahead of James Perry in P2.
So a decent return to the league, hasn't he?
He joined last season, he finished second, so he's going to go for his third title this time around. So James Perry in P2 on 117 points, Mitya Miladanovic in P3 on 107. Then we got Melka Garbi. Unfortunately, he's been inconsistent a little bit in the super sprints, but in the pros, well, he had a 15th, 13th, and a 4th, so improving. Rock Cops, Kodeman, Demokos Kish, Cops, Engel, Amir, Michel Vilazzi, who didn't make last race, Oliver Ewig, and Keddy, who also didn't make his last race. Mr. Sergio in P15, Alfie Barron. So we got some. Mr. Goodway didn't make that made last week but didn't finish.
I'm going to say Alfie Barron must have missed a couple of races way down there. Although it's hard to say that now because there are some really quick guys at the top.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got quicker.
Yeah.
So for the Tier 2 or the AMs, we've got Jerome Acuna who is absolutely rapid in P1 on 118 points. Christian Bertoncello, who had a fantastic battle with Nick Stick and Ryan Blanchett last week in P2 on 108 points, followed closely by Nick the Stick on 106 points. Ryan Blanchett in 4th, Tudor in 5th, the Playboy in P6.
I think Ryan Blanchard got a second place last week as well. Was it Nick? Was it Nick that spun out on the last lap or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was closing in on Acuna, and then he fell away from Acuna. Fell into the traps of Bertoncello and Blanchett.
Yeah,
Blanchett was trying to pass Bertoncello. Bertoncello was trying to pass Nick the Stick. Nick the Stick made a mistake, and then last but one lap, Blanchett overtook Bertoncello for the lead. So that was eventful.
And that's
brilliant.
how that goes?
Yeah, it was. I remember it like it was yesterday. Chris Jones there in P28th. Simon Turner in 31st. Craig Hill, Anna Forster. So we got still 40 drivers registered for that. So hopefully we still remain hopeful we can have 2 servers for tomorrow. So that's the calendar. We don't want to look at that. We don't want
Where
to look
have you
at that.
been for the last little while there, Mr. Smiley? He's not been resting down the seas, as far as I can see.
I don't. In fairness, I don't think he likes getting smashed.
But yeah, he's quite happy to jump in that cup car and spin himself.
Well,
Interesting.
last week I missed. So I was going to do the Porsche Cup comps, but I had found myself in a bad mood, and I decided not to. So what's the time now? It is currently.
It's currently 7:40. 20 minutes left.
20 minutes left. As
Practicing talking.
effing liveries hits again. What else can we play with? Next week we'll try and bring. I've got 9 messages from someone, so that was distracting me. So next week we'll try and get some. If there's the Clip That channel in the FRL Discord server, if you can share some interesting clips of the races, that would be great. Also, if you feel like doing some clips of. I did a few rounds of PSG and sprints as we were having a new bathroom, so my missus and child was sleeping elsewhere, and I could race as much as I wanted. Oh, to dream. I dream a dream of days gone by. She's now back, so 1 a week now. All right, I'm allowed. I get permission for 3 nights a week in the shed. My wife.
Would you still be able to do your night that many nights if you were in the kitchen still?
I wouldn't be able to commentate.
Yeah, true. And your endurance races would probably be limited more as well.
No, I think racing wise, I'd probably be able to get away with more.
Just because you're so loud.
Well, yeah. If racing, I could sit there. So when we were doing endurance races before, I could kind of sit in the corner of the kitchen, and I could do my race, do my stint. After my stint, I could go back and sit with the family, and still be a partaking member of the family. Because the shed, I have to make a conscious effort to leave the house, to go into the shed. I generally don't go back in the house unless I'm called upon. So from that perspective, it's a bit difficult. But my wife hates the sound of my voice, so I couldn't do commentary in there. I did look at going into the attic, but then I was going to be above the kids' bedrooms, so.
Yeah, so then the vibration possibly from the steering wheel.
Well, not even the steering wheel, just my bloody voice.
Yeah, and then when you get taken out screaming,
I'm not as bad as some people.
No.
Hello,
No.
Mr. Floppy Fox. How's the cat? So yeah, so I'm not as bad as some people. Some people, when there is a PC drivers chat in the Discord server. Oh, someone's gone off. And it's free for anyone to enter. You don't need to be an admin or know one of us. Just jump in, and the guys are genuinely really, really friendly.
And shout as much as you like.
But however, if one of them has the slightest bit of contact, it is the end of the bloody world. Your eardrums are perforated because some of these screamed so loud that, and my favourite thing is they look at the clip after the race. Oh, it wasn't that bad, really. Yes, my eardrums.
I think my worst one was when Traction Dave came out the pits and ran right in front of me, and I had to get the brakes on. You almost muted me that day.
Did I? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, less said about that human, the better.
Oh,
So, Floppy Fox said sleep may or may not be naturally.
yes. Maybe induced.
Maybe induced. Well, I would say I wish I could do that to my kids, but however, they are, in fairness, the best sleepers in the world. Touch wood. I sent them to bed at 10 to 7, and they will wake up at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Life is good.
So we've got 2 endurance races coming up just well we're waiting to start them. You're going to have a hard Monza, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got 3 hours to do, I've got 3 hours to do, but you still have 3 hours of comms to get done as well.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm doing the end or the beginning of it yet.
Whichever, either way, it doesn't matter. I can do the other drive.
Hello, Dark
But
Saber.
I do think 3 hours on the trot's going to be a bit difficult. It's going to be hard.
We can do it. I did 3 hours
No,
on my own.
we can do it.
I did 3 hours on my own in the M2.
I've done 6 hours.
Kailami.
Where were we? Was it Kylam? Yeah, because Tug's pedals broke and you didn't know nothing about it. And then when you came in to take over, the end of the race happened.
When I came in to take over, I was like, "Oh, my wheels aren't working." Right, cheers, tell them off. Yes, that was not our nicest moment.
No.
So we have 6 hours of.
Kylam's not been good to us, to be honest with you.
Oh, Jesus! So Thomas Nopet, there was a car that was parked sideways across the track, and I think Thomas Nopet didn't quite see him and basically hit him, which couldn't have been a nice experience. So yes, 6 hours of Monza on the 25th of February, he says.
Yes.
And then, so we've got...
Dreadful course.
We've got pretty much we definitely have a full grid of GT3 cars.
Yeah.
We've got 12 GT4 cars at the minute. When I checked, there were 16.
Is it still 12?
It is still 12. There were 6 teams who didn't have their full complement of drivers with a license. So there's potential that those may go. And then we have 4 hours of Brands Hatch the week after, or the month after.
We don't have any GT4s for that, do we?
No, we've abandoned my noble quest to have more GT4 cars on track.
You know, the sad part is there's people that come in the chat and they're quite happy to drive in the GT4s, but yet we still can't get more than 10 cars. It makes you wonder.
I just think that when we've gone to watch the British GTs and you watch endurance races, Le Mans, you've got LMP1, LMP2,
oh, yeah.
You've got GT3 cars, pros and AMs, and I just think it adds an extra challenge to it. So I Brands Hatch would have been an absolute nightmare with mixed class racing.
Mixed class racing for Brands Hatch would have been interesting, by sure. Well, I mean, I think we're looking at between 50 and 60 drivers for Brands Hatch, which will be an interesting prospect to begin with.
Yeah, that's basically they're going to be spread out, cut nose to tail.
Yeah, it's going to be one big centipede. A GT3 centipede.
A GT3 centipede. So let's see if I can get them up quickly. So here is scene 2. So this is our current Monza registration. So 25th of February, we have 53 out of 40 GT3 cars. So the majority of those go down as reserves, and we've got 14 GT4 teams registered. So
Yeah.
exciting prospect for that.
So Monza, at the moment, if the race was happening tomorrow, for instance,
Yeah,
then we would have a mixed grid.
yeah,
Um,
but it's not.
that's well, Brands Hatch was never going to be a mixed
No.
grid.
So Brands Hatch
Um,
has 52 teams registered at the moment. I think there was 50 teams registered after the first hour of it going up, in fairness.
I don't think, to be fair, the track is nowhere near big enough to. I don't think it's big enough to extend that 50.
No. So.
But I was wondering later on when we get to the likes of the 24 Hours of Suzuka and the other bigger tracks, I wonder what the maximum grid Katie's got in mind for those.
105 at Suzuka.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's
So
my computer won't handle that.
So these are the teams currently registered that don't have a full complement of their drivers. So you've got Crazy File, Wizard, Mippo, Speed Designs, Endurance, ZHY, Motorsport, New Kids, RGT, Karimarimba Racing, Team Hive Mind, Grumpy Old Farts. They just need to complete their license. Two of those are GT4 teams. In terms of the table, I have it somewhere in one of my spreadsheets. This is
So these are actually teams that have managed to secure a place. They just need to get the license.
yes. So this is there is a better version of this table on the FRL website, but after round 1 you got Mission Spino Esports top of the tree, then you got Flat Out SR in P2. They had an epic battle with Project Reborn Racing, Project Reborn number 1, who are riding the Jag for Monza, by the way. Crazy File are in P4, and then Mission Spino Racing Esports 2 are in P5. Sorry, Derek, I cut you off nastily there.
No, did you cut me off?
Yeah, did slightly.
I didn't notice.
So we got 50.
I must be so used to you just cutting me off that I don't notice anymore.
So we've got 36 drivers on the track. At Misano, as you can see, it's gone from daylight to dusk.
Yeah, Kenny's popped himself back out there for a wee run.
Yeah, he has. He's been playing with his trains all day.
Has he?
He has.
He's a interesting fella. He likes his trains, cars, and planes. There's a Steve Martin movie about that.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yes.
Right. It is now 10 to 7. I propose we take a very short break, where you'll see some music and the calendar's going round and round, whilst we prepare ourselves ready for the super sprints. If you are on PlayStation, Taco Tuesday starts in 40 minutes at Silverstone. I think you've got a long race this evening, 90 minutes by the looks of things. Don't quote me on that because I don't really know. It had stars next to it when I looked at the calendar, so I assumed it was.
I'm going to join the race and claim that it's a catastrophe. James promised me a 90-minute race.
And we're going to bring Ryan into this chat. So if you give us a couple of minutes to wet our whistles and join in for some fun action. Back in a bit.
And if you guys get the chance, just while we're here, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a wee react button. If there's part of the show that you enjoyed, or you're part of any instance that are interesting, there's a list of wee things there, and that just helps us go back and figure out what was fun, what you liked, what you didn't like.
What generally happens is I get bored during a work meeting, and I start to scroll. I start to listen, watch the stream back, and that's when I clip the videos which go on the Instagram account.
Okay. Bit of inside information.
It is right. So back in a moment.
Okay.
You got Gunter Steiner in the race.
Hello everyone, you can probably hear us, but I'm just trying to figure out what I've done wrong. That's what I've done
Yeah,
wrong.
you got something.
I've got OBS as my overlay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't want to do that. But anyway,
Moved it.
we've got some form of information. There was always going to be some issues, given the fact that it's me.
Well, the fact that you had an hour's podcast that's just fried your brain.
Yes, and a full day's work. So you was fine before, and now it's echoey. So let's. Chris, for my sound check, man, how is that?
Oh no! You broke it again. Do you remember what you did to fix that last time?
No, God no.
There was something you done last week that fixed it.
Well, I don't want to do that leaderboard. So usually I do all this before the race, and it is. Then I'm currently trying to do it live whilst we're on stream. So apparently my sound is better, but now I need to try and get rid of the black stuff behind the screen. Get rid of the.
James, all you had to do was change scene. We had this all working great.
We did, but because I had the overlay of OBS behind it, and then I accidentally deleted. Then I accidentally deleted the leaderboard thing. I'm now trying to get rid of it, and I think I figured it out. So.
So I've just reacted to that as being funny because I think it's pretty funny.
So pick screen color, that one. There we go.
So,
we now look professional again.
Sometime this week I'll help you set up to where all you have to do is close off the eye and it shuts down one.
Yep.
And then you can just bring up your screens. That way you're not changing scenes. Because that seems to be a difficulty for you.
There are many difficulties in my life, and my day has been absolutely non-stop. But anyway, Ryan, hello.
Hello.
We found you.
Yes,
I'm here.
He started at the pub, so I picked him up and brought him with me.
I'm here. I'm alive. Very much alive. Oh, we've got 2 Ken Block liveries. Huh.
Who's
We
the
got
other?
to what?
2 Ken Block liveries.
Are
Mr. Goodway and Fielder.
Mr. Goodway. And who was the other one? Fielder. Chris Fielder.
Chris Fielder. Let's have a look.
He's got a purple and black Hoonigan.
So I synced my liveries at 7 o'clock.
I've not synced that one yet.
And
Why do you sync him at 7 o'clock?
Because I was in a bloody podcast.
You should have synced them there.
I did. Well, no.
Well, you can't. You got to come out. You got to come out the game to sync it. So.
And we in the game when I synced mine.
Well, the thing is,
Ryan, don't you come in here and start issuing orders, my friend.
Oh.
It's like I'm like I've got the liveries up, and then I'm like, oh, that's a nice livery. James goes to see it. It's a black car for him, and he's like, I've not got the livery. I was like, you just think it like just before like the server reset.
So Smiley says, stop and go 30 for Williams for not syncing liveries.
Yep.
Is that from the rookies race next week then? This week?
Good news is I'm not at the rookies race this week. I am in sunny Sheffield.
Now, is Misano not one of the tracks you do actually like though?
I love Misano.
So why is it a good thing that you're missing it?
It's not.
Oh, it's the Audi, you don't like it.
So, qualifying has just started. I'm not sure if anyone's announced it or not, but it's going to be split qualifying, so it's 16 minutes. So
yeah, there's been mentioned. Katie said down, remember, qualifying AMs for the first 8 minutes and pro for the last.
There we go. So everything is in hand, and I don't need to panic about a thing. So the first 8 minutes.
I don't think you have to panic as often as you do. I think you're a bit of a worrywart.
I think he is as well.
Do you know what? I was doing and hopefully nobody from Market Harbour is listening to this, but I did the data migration for them last week, and I had an email from them saying, I don't think you've done it right. I was like, oh, why? All the suppliers have the supplier name as supplier. I was like, no, I don't think I've done it right either. So that's my reason for worrying. We've got Black Magic, I think has made
Oh, he's back.
Who is back? Black Magic.
Black Magic. I've not seen him for a while.
Have you not? I swear I have.
No. But then again, I've not been doing the super sprint, so I've not been keeping up with him.
He was here last week.
Was he?
Yeah.
See, I wasn't in the chat last week. I wasn't.
He's got a very white car though.
He does. He's
Oh,
not gonna...
we've got a pro on track.
Well, that's...
Again.
Again. So that was Damien Wilk last week, wasn't it? Causing fun. I can see Raccoon's Damien Wilk is actually in the pits this time in P15, so he's been a good boy. I can't see. I'm sure Keddy and Mr. Kraziz are dealing with that in the appropriate way.
Keddy's put up a message.
Okay, because otherwise just send it back to the pits. So again, just a reminder of the format: 8-minute qualifying, 8-minute pro qualifying, 25-minute sprint race, then another 16 minutes of qualifying, 8 of AM, 8 of pro, and then a final sprint race. Rain 4 is at Misano. Next is Donington Park, I think, isn't it? An FRL favourite. Anyone have any adverse feelings towards Misano they want to share?
Yes, I can't stand the bloody place.
Ryan?
It's actually, but to be honest with you, I'm not as bad as I can't stand it. Hungaroring I can't stand. Misano I will tolerate. But it's definitely way down on the list of tracks that I'd like to be at.
Derek doesn't like it because of the sausage on the exit of turn 5.
Oh, I know. That. Yeah, so that's track limit warning fun on the exit, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not good enough to get track warnings on this track.
Have you not hit the sausage yet and flied? Have you not?
No.
Oh my god!
I put it in third gear and drive. That's all I do. I don't actually go fast on this track because I don't.
I was gonna say, like, you've got to have done that by now.
No,
that's brilliant. I love doing that.
The worst thing I've done at this track was I came out of the fast section.
Yep.
Oh.
The fast corners at the end, and when I started braking, the back end just lost it, and I cut all the way across that section and got disqualified.
So Floppy Fox says go Barry Gibbons Sector Blitz Racing Team, so good luck to him. Chris Field has gone top of the tree with a 35.0 as some times of stands come in. Classens is half a tenth behind him, Chica's half a second, and then we've got Woodward just going into turn 1 at the moment. Misano, I remember this track very, very fondly from the Ferrari World Tour days, which, do you remember that, Derek, when all of a sudden we were like, oh, we got nobody joining us, and then about 30 Italian drivers decided to show up for the Misano race, and it was absolute chaos.
I remember the influx, yeah. That was a Ferrari World Cup, the first one, wasn't it?
Ferrari World Tour, yeah.
World Tour, yeah. It was. Yeah, what did we have? We had about 10 people that were on track. We were worried, and just all of a sudden we were up to 40.
Yeah, and we did one pit stop for 20. Was it for tyres and or fuel? No, you just had to do a pit stop. So I just put fuel in, and I was like 20th going into pits, and then I came out and I was like 10th. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Good times in the Ferrari.
It's always interesting when the Italians come to play.
Mm.
And the thing about it is, Kenny's basically Italian, and he'll tell you the same thing. Speaks Italian, they live closer to. I thought he was telling me. So,
sorry?
Keddy.
Yeah.
He lives right on the corner of. He lives right on the border, basically, of Italy.
Nice. So let's have a. So we got Sotris, aka Papano, in P1 at the moment. Gunter, our championship leader, in P2. Chris Fielder in P3. The Turninator currently in P13. That's a nice livery, Turner.
You got me worried. Now, did I make that statement up?
What?
About Ked living in that at the border of.
I don't know.
You got me worried now.
I just.
I'll be honest with you. I think when we had a conversation about that, that's what he said, but Then just the way you were all surprised, I thought, well, you know Keddy better than I do.
Well, we just send abusive gifts at each other constantly and threaten to quit.
Well, you brought him into the chat earlier and gave him help abuse.
Yeah, I have a new way of greeting people.
Yes. The sad part is we generally answer without thinking.
Yes. So Bjorn Claessens is just going through the final corner, currently P4. That lap puts him in P1 with a 34.1. So these drivers now have just a 1 minute left to cross the line. Looks like Claessens is getting into some traffic. Just having a look at Tice Payne in P6 in the McLaren. McLaren might be a good track for this car because it's low.
Mr. Stick's running the risk of being at the back here if he doesn't get himself a nice wee lap in.
Well, to be honest, I'd probably want to start at the back rather than the front, rather than the middle.
The worry is that you end up with some pros that decide to do that.
Yeah, but they're quick enough to get out of it.
But that's what we were talking about earlier in the chat. I was talking to Brazil and Chica and that about it. It's fine and dandy. Alan, we had nice battles at Indianapolis because I know how he drives, he knows how I drive. And I'm an amateur, he's a pro. However, once he starts to get into the unknown, there's drivers out there that he's never had to deal with before. And there's drivers that these guys have never dealt with. So once you start getting to the unpredictable drivers that you don't know how they brake, where they turn, how they turn in, that's when you start getting into the delicate part of trying to drive and crash.
Yeah, and I suppose with these drivers as well, they're going an awful lot quicker than what I would go. So Floppy
the
Fox.
braking distance is ridiculous sometimes.
So Gunter just going through the final corner at the moment, currently in P3. Is this going to be an improvement for him? It is a slight improvement, but he still remains in P3. Bjorn Claessens is in the pits. Ryan Blanchett has just pulled over, he's finished his lap. Stefano Barato is going through some twisty bits before the final corner. I think he's a couple of tenths down on his time, so I'm not anticipating much of an improvement as he goes quite wide through there. So he's going to qualify pit V15 in the AMS. Field has gone off. Papano is the only man who can challenge the front runners, currently level with his best time. Needs a tenth of a second improvement to be able to claim P1 away from Bjorn Claessens in the AMS. Remember, this isn't P1 overall, but going for the second to last corner, Sotris goes into the pits.
Oh, yeah, he maybe got held up by the 777 car.
Yeah, although Raki is just going for the final corner.
Yeah, he's the last one.
He's the last one, so he's currently P19, jumps up to P16, so above Vitali, Barry, and Mario Morano, and Baduto, and Marco. So
Keddy's the first one to start the pros now. They've just passed the line to start the hot laps.
Oh. We go again for another 8 minutes. So Floppy Fox says some of these pros, AMs, are pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, that should clear itself up next season. Although, to be honest with you, we may have the same problem because we're trying to do it on the driver system, which works great. I have no complaints with the driver system.
Good.
But until a driver's done 4 races into a season, we don't really know where they are. Especially if they don't do the hot stints correctly, or don't do it at a track that they do well at.
Well, I suppose one of the things we need to do is, so we've got Barcelona up until the 31st of March. After the 31st of March, we've got to pick a new track. So I suppose throughout the month of February, we can do a vote of what hot stint track it should be.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing like a Monza or something.
What do you think, Brian, for a hot stint?
Has Ryan left? Mr. Stringer!
Probably couldn't get a word in edgeways, probably decided to escape. He's still here in the chat.
He's still in the chat, he's just not replying.
I don't blame him. So...
I did think he got a bit quiet. I must admit, I never thought about it until now.
So Keddy pops himself up into P1 with a 1:33.9. In the BMW,
Yes.
Still bizarre seeing him in a BMW.
Don't think he likes them all that much. But when the BMW first came out, Keddy drove it a little bit and he was enjoying it. But then I'm sure he said that it was bland and unenjoyable to drive.
So I was just having a quick
Did you
check.
see the size of that thing though? There was. Did you watch any of the Daytona 24?
No.
So they actually had pictures. There's some out there that are doctored to make it look worse, but there's a couple when you watch it on screen, the LMP is half the size, literally half the size of the BMW.
So I was just looking.
BMW is one of the bigger cars.
So I was just trying. I was just trying to figure out. Well, the only one which we've seen face to face is the BMW GT4 car, isn't it? At Donington.
Yeah.
So just
But
having
it's
a
not the same car.
just having a look at the
Was
lap
it?
record here. It's a 33.170. So that's something to keep an eye on, as these drivers are already in 33.5s. We'll keep the size conversation between qualifying and the race when we have to fill some time. So we got some 3 minutes of this left at the moment. Currently on board with Skylar Lovering. Hello Ryan, who's a couple of tenths up on his
There he is.
lap. So he's going through the final corner now. So Skylar Lovering from the good old US of A we've gone away from. Crosses the line and he stays P3. So Thomas Nopek has taken the lead at the moment in qualifying. Mr. Goodway's on for a big improvement from P17. Let's have a look what he does in the Aston Martin. Currently 8 tenths up on his time. This is going to be ridiculously quick. So Garby goes fastest again with a 33.2. Mr. Goodway goes 11th with a 34.3. Who else is up on their laps at the moment? So we got as he's scrolling rapidly up and down on his track. So Michael Firth currently P9, gone through the final corner and goes to P7. So that's a nice improvement into the low 34s. So Melker Garby sets his fastest lap, well, fastest lap of qualifying in the Honda with a 32.222. 33.22222. So he's 3 tenths of a second up on Nopek in P2. Keddy's in the pits. Skylar Lovering is a tenth of a second up. Our resident bridesmaid Vincenzo Senadore looked like he went very right there, lost a couple of tenths of a second. However, Mr. Nopek is going faster again by 5 tenths of a second. So let's try and stay on board with Thomas as he goes through the remainder of this lap, and we can try and pick up some tips. Goes through the non-straight straight into the first right-hander, so that looked very, very wide, but still valid. So there's one right-hander. Move across to the right-hand side of the track for the first of the double left-handers. Skip as much of the curve as you dare. Drift over to the right-hand side, still valid into the final corner. The drift competition is now. No, he manages to keep it pinned, and this is going to be a whopper of a lap from Thomas Nopek. He goes P1 with a 32.8.
Wow, that is
So that is 2 tenths quicker than the fastest lap we've ever had here.
Yeah, and it's also 3 tenths faster than Garby just now. 6 tenths faster than Keddy, and we all know Keddy's no slouch.
I'm sorry, but that has to be demoralising. You see that happen, and you must just sit in your chair, sit in your rig or your chair or on your bed, wherever you're racing, and just kind of go, oh, great.
And I think the person that may be feeling that the most just now would be Garby, because he's sitting. You'd imagine he's sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm 3 tenths ahead of anybody else just now," and then
bam,
just out of nowhere, 3 more tenths is taken off of you. Dear me.
So looking at Stramvanella, currently in P39, I'm anticipating quite a big improvement from him, although he's just
Yeah, Lovrink as well. I'd imagine is going to put one in the last lap. He was up there in practice, so.
Yeah, so Skylar Lovering is a tenth of a second up as he goes through the last corner onto the start-finish straight. So Skylar Lovering finishes qualifying and he goes up into P3, dropping Keddy down to P4. There is a driver going even faster.
Oh,
And he is in a Mercedes, going through the final corner. Thomas
yep,
Novak,
it's Novak again.
he's
Oh,
Oh, I think
invalidated.
that car just scared him, I think.
Senadori,
Dear me.
a tenth of a second up on his best time in P5. Any improvement from him? He jumps up to P4 above Marco Keddy.
Yep.
We've got Michael Firth on a hot lap as well, coming through to the final sector. So in the Ferrari, Misano is Ferrari's friend. Michael Firth going through the final corner, a tenth of a second up currently. Is this going to be a big jump for Michael? He jumps up to P9. Our last runner and rider I think we got is Demokos Kish on the track. Again, in the McLaren. I feel like the McLarens may have a good day out today. So Demokos Kish going into the right-hander. Down the straight. Into
Yeah,
another
just got
left-hander.
he just managed to get the last lap in, so he should be good.
Yeah, so currently P10 for Demokos Kish. He has been qualifying quite well of late. One of the drivers has gone from the rookies to the big boys, goes up
So
to
I brought him
P6.
up to 6.
Nice. Right, so
It's just amazing to see the guys like David Goodway, you know as well as I do. I know we keep saying this. He's a fast driver. And in
Mr.
this,
James.
but and over in these leagues, over in this series, he's not at the top. Hard for us to see, but it just goes to show the quality that is running.
indeed.
Just,
Sorry, Ryan, were you about to
question.
say something?
Did you want me to do what I done last week and do the fly through the grid? Well, I fly through the grid and you do the standard, the grid order.
We can try. So you share your screen.
I need to get it all set up. 1 second.
Right.
And okay, back to front or front to back? Which one?
Back to front.
Back to front. Okay.
Okay, 2 seconds. Let me just make this big on my screen. Right. Stop changing your thing. Right. Okay. So the grid for this evening from back to front. So we've got Woody in P40 with Stranvanella in P39, Marco in P38, Andrea Bodotto in P37, Mario Morano 36, Barry Gibbons 35, Vitali Kuzmenko in 34, Raki Maj in 33, Stefano Barato 32, Black Magic, Alan Brown in 30th and 32nd, Chris Sauter and Ryan Blanchett in 28th and 29th, Ian Thompson and Harry Hottie make up positions 27 and 26. Then you've got Simon Turner, and I've lost my place. Simon Turner and Tice Payne, Gavin Taylor and Gunter in 22nd and 23rd. Then Bjorn Dale and Raccoons Damien Wilk in P20th. And at the moment, all you can see is my ACC TV on the screen.
Yes, you went to the wrong screen.
So there we go.
Hey, it's gone back again.
Oh, is it? What?
It keeps flicking back and forth when you go off screen.
That should be alright.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so Chris Schneider 19th, Nick the Stick in 18th, Amir in 17th, Chris Fielder 16th, David Goodway in 15th, Chesney Salazar 14th, Stotris in 13th, Bjorn Klassens 12, Dean Power in P11. Now top 10, Michael Firth, Nico Veltman, Nigel O'Brien, Alex Zekdal, Demokos Kish, Marco Keddy in 5th, Vincenzo Senadori in 4th, Skylar Lovering 3rd, Melka Garby 2nd, and in P1, as predictable as the wind and rain, is Thomas Nopek. Oh,
You know, I said in the podcast that he is consistent, and that's what I think separates him. But he's still bloody fast.
yes. So we have a Senadori fan in the chat.
Yes, we do.
So welcome, yes, go Senadori. I fancy him to win tonight.
Who?
Senadori.
He's been up there a couple of times. Loverink's been up there a couple of times. Garby, if he consistent. They've all been there challenging at one time or another. Those 4 guys especially. But it just at minor little incidents that makes them drop off, or a minor incident that causes them to spin out, crash. Nopec's just a cool customer, I think. He doesn't let them get under his skin.
So
we'll see. They all have a chance. That's for sure.
well, Woody and P40 might have the best chance.
Oh, of course, he just has to wait till they all come round and start in front of him.
So Ryan,
Yes.
40 cars. Turn 1 or sector 1. Not even saying turn 1. Sector 1. Thoughts?
I mean, when we done the Christmas event, we had, I think it was just a couple of drivers short of that, and it went really well.
We did it twice as well, didn't we? Yeah, because we had a sprint. We had a sprint race and a feature race.
Yes, we did, because the Christmas one was the 2-hour endurance.
I can't remember. No, but we did in one night. We had a sprint race and then we had a feature race, but the winners had ballast.
Yeah, because the Christmas event was at Donington, and that was the multi-class 2-hour, and then we had feature sprint here. Yes, that is correct. Because my pedals worked in the first race questionably, and then the second race they went kaput and died. Which I'm now back to my pedals, and they are very working. They are working very well.
Yeah. They were cleaned. I put them in the box, and my wife went, "Are you going to clean those?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Clean them." I was like, "Oh, okay."
you had to do the housework.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming the minute she asked you, did you clean them?
Yeah. No, I did not clean them.
They do work very well, and I did test them the other night, Sunday night, on AC. I decided to download a mod, and
I'm going to focus on Katie for the start of the race.
So we're looking at Nopec as ever. Well, we're going to take a bird's eye view as the drivers go side by side now into the final corner. Nopec, Garby, Lovrink, Keddy, Senadori, Zakdel, Kish, O'Brien, Veltman, Firth are our top 10. We will try and keep our eye on the red AMs as well. We've got Claessens, Stotris, Fielder and Stick. On your marks, get set, go for round 4 of the Super Sprints in race 1. Nopec has already got the steal on Melka Garby. He gets his racing line ready into turn 1. Melka Garby files into second. It looks like it's Senadori and Skyler Liverink. There are cars off at the back. We're going to concentrate on the fight for the front, because it looks as though the top 10 have got away nice and cleanly, which is good to see. I'm not sure what the rest of the grid is doing, but Thomas Nopec leads from Garby, leads from Senadori, leads from Liverink, and they file through into sector 2, down the long straight into the hairpin. Garby has a little bit of distance from Senadori. Keddy started 5th and is currently 5th. Zakdel in 6th. Veltman, we see a lot of yellow flags across the back of the grid. So let's have a look. Let's see what's happening with Chesney Salazar and Nick Stick. Salazar in P15, Nick the Stick in P14 as they go through the hairpin towards the left hand, the right hand here, the right hand onto the next long straight. Little bit of quite a bit of contact with Nick the Stick's rear quarter. He's going to have difficulties getting up and going again, because he's going to have to wait for the traffic to pass. So he's off and running again. Let's see what's happened back at the front. We've got Nopec, who is a second in the lead already. Garby in P2. Michael First dropped 2 places down to P10. Bjorn Claessen's up to 11th. So he's gained up 1 place. Salazar and Fielder are swapping places. Oh, anything interesting happened at the start?
That was quite quiet.
Couple of spins, but I think that is life-threatening. Not no serious damage.
No serious damage. So lap 1 is completed. Remember, no pit stops. Interestingly enough, a man who started P40 is up into P29, which is Mr. Woodward. So he's 29th on the grid. Chris Schneider's gone into the pit, so I assume there's damage for car number for Chris Schneider in 36. Looking at the front of his car, yeah, and he's also ported to the pit, so I think that might be his race run. Barato is falling down the grid rapidly. He's going a bit slowly in his Lamborghini, so he's currently in P34. Michael Firth has dropped a position to Stockdress in P13. Remember, this is AM versus Pro. That's Michael Firth versus Stotterer. Stotterer's come across on the PlayStation 4 side very, very recently and is showing his pace straight away. He's trying to chase down Bjorn Claessens in P1 in the AMS. So lots of different fights to be keeping an eye on. Domokos Kish has fallen behind Nigel O'Brien. So Kish into P9, O'Brien into P8. Senadori is all over the back of Lovering as they're looking to go side by side. Senadori wants to jump onto that podium once more. There are very close fights all over the place, as you would expect in a 25-minute race on lap 2.
So just looking at the back, there is like the AMs have slightly broken apart.
Oh, Keddy twitchy.
Keddy's going the back twisted.
Yeah, sorry, Orion.
From the back, it's slightly spaced out. A couple of incidents that have come across. Woody, the main man, he was saying that how he was going to do well in quali, didn't set a lap, must have been trying too hard and pushed the track limits a bit too much. So he was at the back and he has just spun it at the second to last corner. Luckily, he's right next to the pit lane line, so he can just drive straight into the pits. That's if he decides to. Yes, he has.
So he has indeed. So we've got four drivers now into the pits. Raki Madge was having a little bit of interest in time, so he's currently in P34, going side by side with Marco, trying to get the acceleration on as early as possible. He has the inside line for the right-hander. They still go side by side. That's nice, clean racing. Raki does make the move back up into P33. Nico Veltman is all over the back of the ERS liveried Alex Zakdel. Keddy is also behind Nico Veltman, and I'm dribbling. So just saw in the chat. Sorry, I was looking for my keyboard for some reason.
I'll tell you what. I just noticed that the temperature's gone down to 9 degrees.
Yep.
And it's only fast on track, so it's not even optimal. These guys are going to struggle to get the top speeds, and they'll be sliding about a good bit.
Absolutely. So just having a look at the time of the race. So time of day is 1:10 in the morning by the looks of things.
Yes.
So it's 9 degrees track temperature, 9 degrees air temperature. Domokos Kish is falling a little bit down the grid. I'm not sure what's happening with him, but he's going quite slow down the start-finish straight. He's been passed by a number of drivers. So Domokos Kish now in P14, so that was Michael Firth just in front of him, and then he's got Chris Fielder directly behind him. Chris Fielder and Gunter de Potre exchanging positions as they're going side by side. So Chris Fielder in, believe me, it is. Oh, that was Bjorn Claessens facing the wrong way.
Oh,
it is.
Yeah, it's Claessens. Down in 19th.
Oh, big crash!
Chesney
Salazar on the back straight has made contact with Michael Firth, and Michael Firth has returned to the pits, and I will double check what has just gone on.
Claessen's just got started again. He's now fell down to 24th position.
And Chesney Salazar has some flappy bonnet syndrome, so not quite sure what happened, but it looks
that was a big contact. And I'm just looking at the replay now to see what has gone on.
So Skylar Lovering has also been passed by Vincenzo Senadori into. So Senadori's now moved up to P3. Don't believe the leaderboard on the left-hand side. That's because Michael Firth has ported to the pit, so he's therefore gone ahead of all these drivers. But Skylar Lovering is trying to get back P3 from Vincenzo. Garby is 2.8 seconds behind.
We've had Precious further back. We've
O'Brien's all over the back of Keddy as well.
Amir and Harry Hottie have made contact.
Tickets!
Yeah, I just looked back at the replay between Michael Firth and Chesney Salazar. Michael Firth went a bit deep and tried to cut the corner and didn't give enough room to Mr. Goodway.
Chris Snyder's been in the pits for 4 laps. That was at the very start.
Yeah, he's returned and he's not coming back out.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's coming back out. He's waiting for race 2.
Yeah, he's probably gone to make himself a cup of tea. Thinking of cup of tea, I can just see my wife boiling the kettle. So that's good news. Skylar Lovering is desperate to get third place back from Vincenzo Senadori. Behind them you've got Zacto, Veltman, Keddy and O'Brien. Keddy's putting Veltman under pressure for P6 as well. Gunter de Potre is challenging Chris Fielder, so this is for P1 in AMS. Gunter kind of goes silently along his business and then ends up in the podium each time.
Oh, Zachdale just went right off track, come right on in front of Wildman there.
I'm sure
don't know if it would be classed as a unsafe re-entry, but it definitely overshot the exit or the entry to the corner and went wide.
So Alex Zachdale P5 has Veltman.
Yeah.
So it was. Sorry, just saw some exchanging positions between Veltman and Keddy. So Veltman has a lot of pressure from that lime green BMW behind.
Keddy tried to make up for his lap 1 incident when he slipped off the track.
Yeah, he got quite squirrely.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, O'Brien in that Honda, he falls back here and there from a little mistake, but he catches right back up very quickly and starts to pressurise again.
Interestingly, if you have a look at the top 11, they're all pro drivers as well.
Yes. As I said, the driver's rating works. The odd little one here and there that scraped through from being new to the league.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, next week's treat. James talks through methodology of driving rating on the podcast, shall we?
Yeah, we can do that. I don't see why not.
Demokos Kiss is back under pressure from Chris Fielder. Remember, these two don't have to battle each other. But Chris Fielder wants to get away from Gunter behind, who's only 0.8 of a second. We've got Zachdale still under pressure. He seems to be a bit of a cork in the bottle in that Aston Martin, in front of Veltman, Keddy and O'Brien. And then we've got Kish, Fielder and Gunter within a second of each other. Alan Brown's under pressure from Amir as well in P18. Alan Brown is putting pressure on Vitali in P17. So Alan's going to be searching for a podium currently in P6. Ryan Blanchett again is in.
Going for the inside. Not quite there, sorry, carry on.
Ryan Blanchett is once again quite high up the grid. Looks as though contact between Timpsons and Claessens, which is going to be interesting. So Thompson is currently ahead.
They've been fighting a few times over the last couple of weeks actually.
Yeah, so Veltman is still having a lime green BMW behind him, but Zachdale's pulled a second in front of him. Let's stay with Kish and Fielder for a little bit, because I do fancy Fielder to potentially make a move here.
Just looking at the lead in AMS, and this is really interesting. This gives me the vibes of last season when it was me, Chris Schneider and Ryan Blanchett at Brands Hatch, which was one of the best battles that I had throughout the short season that I had, and it was really good to see, this. I mean, you've got the likes of like Nobel, who is miles faster.
Yeah,
so far this season, he has been pulling massive gaps. I mean, the only race that has been a battle was last week at Indianapolis, but these three at the front of the AMS is really, really good.
Yeah, Fielder, Gunter and Stotteris, or Stotteris.
You've got to remember Claessens as well is usually very, very quick.
Well, he's
gets into a little bump here and there, which has knocked him back tonight again. But
yeah, well, he's back.
He's always up there as well.
He's now above Ian Thompson. He's now 0.7 of a second behind Black Magic. So let's see if we can see what Black Magic can see out of his rearview mirror. But I don't want to go away from the fight with Gunter and Stotteris and Fielder at the moment. As you can see, Stotteris trying everywhere on the track to try and get past.
Well, we've got a car stop on the home straight, number 21. Who is that? That is Robin Will.
Oh, Stotteris is going to try and send it down the inside, and he's made contact. There was no room there. You didn't need to make the move. It's not a nice clean overtaking place. Gunter then moves in front of Ryan Blanchett. Ryan Blanchett is very forgiving, although Gunter is now defending. Sorry. Thank you very much. Oh, chocolate bar too. Thank you. So that was a bit of a silly move.
Yeah, it was always a closing door.
Yeah. And I suppose that's the difference between some of the AM drivers or the rookie drivers compared to the pros. The pros, risk versus reward. That might not be. You might have shaped to do it, but you might not have sent it. Whereas Stotris did send it. Yeah.
The thing about it is when you're going to send it or have a dive, you need to make sure that you're going to make that. If you know it's going to be a closing door, then all it's going to do is send up a crash. There's the time to dive and the time not to dive.
So I've just looked back at the Damien Wilkes crash, why he was stopped on the home straight. There was a three-way battle between Wilkes, Barretto and Hottie, and Barretto went wide. Wilkes was going slow, and then Hottie, who is teammates with Wilkes, has come out the corner and rear-ended him.
Stotris is trying to do it again, sorry. Carry on.
Wilkes then gets flung to the right, gets spun by Barretto, and then the two teammates are facing each other going down the home straight. And then Wilkes has returned to the pits. So that's unfortunate for Mr. Wilkes, and don't know if he'll be coming back out from that.
So Luke Looney said a nasty punt on Depotre. I completely agree. However, Bjorn Dale's just appeared out of nowhere. So started P21, is now 13th. He's gone in front of Stotris. I'm just going to call him Papano.
Couldn't call who what?
I'm eating a chocolate bar, which is really poor planning.
That was close.
So
Lost it.
Which one is that?
So P14.
P14.
Number 92, the Ferrari.
The 92. How do you get Papano from that?
Because on PlayStation 4 he was Papano.
Oh, okay. Oh, was he?
Oh, it's Papano!
Okay.
Oh.
Right.
So Papano's putting Bjorn Dale under pressure.
Yes.
In very similar braking zones, he's putting his nose in, and we know Bjorn Dale likes to defend.
Yes. And can be quite aggressive at times with defending. I don't mean that in a bad way, I just mean he can put his car where he needs to keep you back there.
Yeah.
So, do you want to know a fun fact about Papano?
Yeah?
His surname, actually, I don't know what the first part of it translates to, but I have a friend with the same name, but as his last name. So, without translating it, it's Conto John.
Oh, Conto John. Nice. So John.
We call him John.
Yeah.
I only know that because my friend is Greek, and he his name on my phone is Giannis.
Oh,
but
Zach
he
Del.
gets
Oh no!
It's happened again.
So Zach Del had a squirrely moment going through the final corner. He then Veltman goes alongside during the exit, and essentially Zach Del then forced him into the pit wall.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know how far off track he was, but I would say he was off track enough that he needed to give the space before coming back on. You can't just
I don't think. I will offer some defence here for Zach Del, for Alex. I don't think he had full control of his car.
I've just looked back at the replay. He was on, in theory, the racing line. Obviously, with that final corner, you do run wide over that exit curb, and where his car was, he's still on the track limits. So
but you see his car go side to side, and that's where I don't think he had control. Where then Veltman saw the opportunity on the exit, felt like he could go side by side, which in normal circumstances you probably could, but because Zach Del didn't have control of his car, he sent the car into the left, which then Veltman met wall, which is very, very unfortunate for him. So That has promoted quite a lot of drivers up the grid. In terms
Yeah,
of
Zach didn't actually lose that much time. He's still in 7th, but Velman fell all the way to 18th from it.
so Nico is still going. So he's behind this battle at the moment for P16 between Alan Brown and Vitali Kuzmenko. These two have been going at it for a little bit of time. Brown shows a bit of his nose to Vitali, which makes his braking zone a little bit deeper, and Alan Brown has passed Kuzmenko. Stotris and Dale, I feel that there's going to be some interesting fun here because they're getting back close again together. So currently on board with Bjorn Dale from Norway. Raced last season in the super sprints. Look how much Papano closes under the braking zone. It is absolutely miles that he gains under the braking zone, and that's probably where he feels that he's getting the advantage and potentially thought he could send it into the corner. The Mercedes does have great straight line speed over the Ferrari, but again back under the braking zone. Papano closes in to Bjorn Dale.
Yeah, the Ferrari's got good brakes. It's not actually a slouch on the exit of corners either. It's just the Mercedes has more power coming out.
Squats and goes, as Woody used to say.
Yeah.
Right, we had a great battle at Laguna Seca once, and he was saying, "Oh, your Merc just squats and goes when it comes out of the corner." I was like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I like it." I'm looking forward to driving the beast once again at Monza.
Yeah. It's the middle of the corner that I find the Mercedes kind of struggles. And then it's such a heavy car, you can't brake on a dime with it. You have to brake that little early up. And some cars, like say the Ferrari or the Porsche.
So we got a couple of drivers just having a nice chill late afternoon. So we got Thomas Nopek 7 seconds in front of Garby. Garby 3.8 seconds in front of Senadore. Senadore has Skylar Lovering for company with just a couple of tenths behind. Alex Zakdal is under pressure from Dean Power behind as they're following through into Sector 2. So it'd be nice to see what happens between these two drivers. Bjorn Dale and Stotris Papano are still going for P12, as Papano is all over the back of Bjorn Dale. Bjorn Dale, I think that must be a lapped car in front. Car number 11.
Just like the Chica's car in 20 seconds. He looks like he's been in the wars, but he's still managing to hold down 20 seconds.
That's good.
We haven't got number 11.
Oh, P11 then. It must be Domokos Kish. Oh yeah, he's only a second in front. So
How's that? What are you on about?
I just saw 11 on the numbers. Numbers, yeah, numbers. I'll go with numbers.
Not letters then.
Not letters, no. So Senadore and Skylar still wanting to play with each other. Keddy has O'Brien just 5 tenths behind. Let's stay with Dale and Papano, because that gap shrinks and expands quite rapidly. I was trying to think of an analogy to symbolise what shrinks and expands at a rapid rate, but then I thought probably better not go down those lines.
Yeah, maybe not. the easiest one to use is probably the worst one to use.
Indeed. So Bjorn Dale is now giving some pressure to Domokos Kish in P11. If someone can keep an eye on Power and Zakdal for me, that would be great.
Yeah, I can do that. I was just having a quick look at Nopek. He's 8 seconds ahead just about.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable race again. I think we need to get someone in to contest him a bit better.
Oh, send a DM to Jardia.
Yeah, I thought I was going to say Jardia and Dalkin, and we'll get in a UK monkey again. We'll just say, remember us?
It would be quite cool to see like the big boys back in the league. It would be quite funny to see how I would like to see how Nopek sizes up against Dal King and Dradia.
I think it would be up there along with him.
I think he would.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who. What's Akuna's first letter on his name? James?
Jerome.
Ah, because there was a guy that was racing in the 24, and it was T Akuna, and I thought it was him. But I obviously was wrong. But yeah, no, I think Nopek would be driving quite closely with Jardiere and I mean George Boothby on like people like that. I don't see why Nopek isn't sort of in that sort of category. I mean, I don't think he's got an official team, but he is really, really quick.
Well, that's what I was saying about him.
Chromedix, if you're listening, sign him up.
Chromedix?
That's what I was saying about him being consistent. Like Sir Jardiere and all that, they're very, very consistent drivers. And you see them saying, I missed that 8-vex.
Lovering.
Huh? Oh, Senador. So yeah, we were. I was concentrating on Bjorn Dale, but we've just gone back to Sky Loverink and Senadore as they're fighting it through continuously. Oh, that was even closer. Christ! As Loverink
they were side by side through the corner before the long straight. That was why I was making weird noises.
I appreciate the weird noises because it brought my attention back to this. Leader is on the final lap, so Nopek has his final tour. We're going to stay with, so he's 9 seconds in front of Melka Garbi. Senador is 4 seconds behind, but he is under some pressure from the man from the United States of America, Skylar Loverink. That was a lovely impression, I'm sure you agree.
I wasn't going to say anything, and then like you said it, I was like, oh, here he goes.
Yeah.
Complications in James's life.
Yeah, there are many complications. So Senadore and Skylar Loverink. Skylar loves a good battle here in FRL. He has been racing. Oh, he's gone very, very wide there on the exit. That might be a track warning. But Senadore potentially
number 4 drive-through.
Number 4
drive-through on Barretta. Barretta down
good.
in 23rd. The Power and Zachdale situation. Power has pulled it up to the back of Zachdale, right on his tail.
Oh God! How close does Loverink get in that braking zone? Sorry.
No, that was fine.
So Loverink is.
Oh, that was quite close actually.
Yeah, it was very close. So also P17, 18, 19, 20th. And 21st, so Kuzman Vitali is dropping like a stone. Klassens is also dropping like a stone.
There's been a crash.
But we're gonna watch Nopek cross the line. He comes across to win race one. Melka Garbi's gonna get P2. I guess there was a clash between Klassens and Vitali. We'll have a little bit of a look at that in a moment. Garbi P2. Senadore is gonna claim P3. Skylar Loverink P4, Marco Keddy P5, Nigel O'Brien 6, Alex Zachtel claims 7th with a bit of controversy from Dean Power in 8. David Goodway, once again a decent race for him in 9. Chris Fielder wins the AMS in 10th. Tomokosh Kish 11th, Bourndale 12th, Papano in 13th, P2 in the AMS, Gunter P3 in the AMS in 14th, Blanchett P4, then we got Alan Brown gets P5, Stranvanella gets P17, Nico Veltman 18, Amir in 19th, then we got Ian Thompson in 20th. That's not a bad result for him. Vitali
6 in the arms.
Yeah, Vitali claims P21st, Gavin Taylor 22nd, Black Magic is going to claim 23rd. Lots of cars going quite slowly. Then you got Bjorn Klassens in 24th. Lucky not to get shunted there. Raki gets 25. Chesney Salazar 26. Mario Morano in 27th. Barry Gibbons in 28th. Harry Hottie in 29th going through the final corner. Stefano Barato, who we said has that drive-through, in P30th. Marco 31st. Tice Payne in 32nd. Budotto in 33rd, Sauter in 34th, Neil Woodward in 35th, Wilk in 36th, Turner 37th, Michael Firth 38th, and Chris Schneider 39th. So our winner is Mr. Nopek once again.
Yes, by quite a distance again.
Quite a distance indeed. So what happened with Claessens and Vitali?
I haven't actually even looked. I was sort of more like trying to work out what was going on with Claessens as he come back on track, because he nearly had a crash with someone, and I'm just gonna zoom back to it. So Claessens went wide, come back on track. Oh, it's all on Claessens.
Okay.
He come back on track and just sideswiped Vitali.
So Chris Smiley asked, has Nopek ever lost a sprint race? So he last week in race 1 he finished P2.
Finished second, yeah.
Yeah.
If you count that as last.
Yeah.
I lost even. I'm not last. I was lost. I don't think it's a loss to come in second.
No.
But it has not managed to beat first place. That one at least.
So we now have the drivers have a couple of minutes break in order to recharge their batteries ready for qualifying. Smiley says my memory is not so great. My memory is absolutely haggled. So I'm just checking on stuff.
Can I just mention, when you were going through the results, you got to David Goodwin, who we were talking about at the beginning. He was down in what, 20th position, 21st. He just quietly comes through the pack. I don't think he's. I think his qualifying doesn't show you what kind of driver he is. His race does all the speaking for him.
Well, even on PlayStation days, Dave was never the best qualifier. He held a couple of lap records, but his races were better than his qualifying.
Yeah.
But no prizes are given for qualifying.
That's it.
In terms of who left, I have no idea. Smiley.
The terms of people that didn't finish the race, I can tell you, was Chris Snyder, Stick, Firth, Turner, and Will.
So I can see Chris Snyder's in the lobby. Turner, Firth, and Wilk, they're still in the lobby. So I'm not sure who the other person was.
It was 40 at the start. It was 40 at the start. He's still 40 now.
Oh, no, 40. Those are just the drivers that never finished.
So I've got
So
30. I got 39 on my list.
Your list is wrong, mate.
My list is wrong. Yeah.
No, you're actually right. There's 39. You have to go into drive. You have to go into the drive and look. So the people that left, I will have to wait until the qualifying. Once qualifying starts, we'll see who left.
Well, I've got 38, so.
I got 39.
I've got 38, so I don't know who. Don't know if the system's gone a bit bugged on us.
It's showing 38 on mine as well. Actually, it's showing 40 until you come out and go into the drive.
Well, I click drive and it shows me 38. So for me, I've lost two drivers. You've lost.
Okay,
one
so
driver.
next stick's one of them.
Right. Okay.
Probably Mike.
The only one that I see that's missing, because the Porsche is still there at Chris Snyder.
Yep.
The Ferrari of Firth is still there, the Ferrari of Turner's still there, and the Lambo of Wilk is still there. So
Yeah,
the only one I see that's missing was, unless someone left that finished the race.
I don't know. Let me have a look. I don't know if. Oh, maybe Claessens has left after that. Did Claessens even finish?
Claessens is still here.
Maybe he is still there.
He's currently in second place on this list.
But just going off of the results of race 1, I'm really surprised that Chris Fielder is an AM driver. He was quite far down at the start of the race, and he I think he was 10th overall.
We're down to 37 drivers now.
And those are drivers. But yeah, he finished like 10th. and he was on the back of Mr. Goodway, which I think is some sort of a team because they both got the same sort of design, and I think if you spectate them, I think they've both got the same name. 43.
Sorry, I was just working out some technical things whilst that was going on. So someone's just tried to rejoin the lobby again.
That'd be Mr. Wilk. He just appeared in the pit lane.
So
I don't know if that was he went on a trip or not. Well, let me have a look. I'll do my usual thing.
So just
Please
trying
don't
to...
tell me Wilkes went out on track.
No, so we got 39, so we've lost 2 drivers. Drivers are back out back again for qualifying, so we have 8 minutes once again for the AMs to set their personal best laps, and then we go to the pros. This is the qualifying session, which sets the lap records, incidentally. So we'll try and keep an eye on what that time is. So I've got about 9 million different screens up in front of me at the moment. I don't want that screen. What was I was trying to look at something. Yeah, you two talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
I'm working out who's left.
I'm currently messaging Rocky Maggi, who is one of the Run DJC drivers, just saying well done on his race because he jumped in with only an hour's practice and he got 11th in AMS, so that's a good result for him. He is a quick driver, just didn't put the time in for practice.
Well,
That's happens to a lot of us.
so having an hour's practice, that's a good day. So having a look at Chris Fielder, he set a lap time in Barcelona 45.4, which would have put him in the Pro-Am section anyway. His current driver rating is 66.5, however, because he's performed quite well. 78.1 in his first race, 43.2, and then 78.1 again in last week's race. So he's on the fast track to go at least to the silver, maybe even pro. Alan Brown sets the first fastest lap of a 35. Sorry, I just have to check my rating stuff. So these will be the first laps that these drivers produce. Are you still here? Or have I disconnected from the comms channel?
No, we're still here.
Oh, right, okay.
You got very quiet, like you climbed under the bed or something. There you go. Now you're screaming.
Now I'm screaming. Right, okay. Just got to put my mic closer to my face. Why is that? There we go. So session's best relative. So Chris Fielder currently in P1 with a 34.497. Sotris just going through his next lap. He did a 35.9 last time around. Fielder's currently off the track. You would anticipate that the laps in this qualifying would be quicker than the laps in the first qualifying, because you've had 25 minutes. Well, you've had an extra 33-minute racing as the Woody and Brown were going were facing the wrong way at the corner as Chico.
I think oh no. Woody lost the back end, and then Brizzle ended up making contact with him.
Well, again, you can imagine the screaming that was going on in the chat there.
I was genuinely just about to jump over and find out what had gone on.
So,
I did say to them that we was going to do a drifting session at the last corner in the practice. I didn't mean in qualifying.
So we got drivers. It's a very, very long pit lane in Misano. It's quite quick entering the pits, but exiting the pits feels like you're going to go grey.
I think the driver that may have left was Melker Garby.
Oh.
I'm just looking. I can't see.
No,
Garby.
maybe
I was
not.
just
No, he's not. Garby's in 36 on my list.
Garby's still here.
I've only got
Fucking
38 for me. don't know.
Just working my way
I
through it
got
slowly.
I got 38 as well, so at least that adds up. So Bjorn Klassen sets the fastest lap so far. Oh, it's just been beaten. So Bjorn Klassen set the fastest lap, which is a 34.2, and then Papano goes even quicker with a 33.6.
That is a very quick lap time. I mean, if he can do that during the race, I can see him battling for a top 10 overall. But we can't cross off Chris Fielder. He didn't really have a good qualifying at in race 1. Qualifying 1, he didn't have a good qualifying session. So he could possibly get a really good result. It could be between Fielder and Papano for the win in the AMS.
So I have a little unwritten rule, and that's any drivers which we know of who come across from PlayStation to PC, we always allow them to bed in the AM section and the rookies before they go to the pro section, rather than...
Aha, found him. It's Veldman.
Oh, right.
Veldman has left.
So Veltman, there's another driver who's left as well, but so Veltman got destroyed, was involved in that incident with Alex.
Yes, Veldman and Stick that have gone.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I just got a bunch of pictures, put them all on all my screens and went through them.
So
Took me that long though.
It did. So just coming towards the last 40 seconds of qualifying. So Papano is going through the final corner. That's invalidated. He was up on his lap as well, so he'll be quite disappointed. Gavin Taylor's just going through the final corner in the Mercedes-Benz. He accelerates away. This should be an improvement into the mid 34s. It is indeed. He goes into P3. Let's stop the auto thing because that's going to do my head in. Anyone else up on their lap times at the moment? Papano's going quicker through sector 1. Ryan Blanchett in P8 is got a couple of tenths of a second. So is Barato actually, who is just ahead of these, and Gunter. These three drivers are all in very close proximity, as you can see. Gunter just in front, right behind Barato. Barato is 6 tenths of a second up on his best time as the pros now start to leave the pits. Too many drivers now, never mind. Never enough, no. As Gunter dives into the pit. So Ryan Blanchett in the Budweiser Ferrari, currently P8. A couple of tenths up on his best time at the moment. He goes into P5. That is a really good lap time. Bjorn Klassens is also up by a couple of tenths on his lap time as the game freezes. I think someone was trying to join back in. Bjorn Klassens going for the final corner. Has a little bit of a slipstream. P2 stays P2. And Papano is going faster. He's a couple of tenths up on his best lap, although that's just dropped down to an equal best time. Going through the final corner. Payne is also going off the track as Papano improved. Well, he's gone. His last lap was a 33.7, which is half a tenth down on his personal best lap. So our AM grid is Stotris, Chris Fielder. So I'm just going to jump on board with one of the drivers. Papano, Fielder, Klassens, Taylor, Blanchett, Payne, Brown, Hottie, Gunter, Blackmagic, Thompson, Barato, Raki, Barry Gibbons, Budetto, Vitali, Morano, Taylor, Marco, and that is our 19 AM drivers. We are still on 38 drivers, just letting everyone know. So Derek doesn't have to go and find somebody else. Although he's currently berating his keyboard by the sound of things.
No, that is me.
Alright.
Doing the usual spamming messages to people. Like I usually do.
Just having a quick look at Keddy. Normally he's right out there as soon as qualifying's ready. He was a whole minute and a half in the pitch longer.
I know what Katie likes to do. He likes to let the numpty, as I call them, the numpties. Which I'm calling them numpties because I do the same thing. I just go out as soon as possible just to get on track.
He's come out right at the back and he's given everybody a good lead before he started coming out.
He wants to have that fresh air, which is always a good idea. But I'm yeah, I've got my hopes up for KD because I said to KD that if he takes the lap record off of Nopec, I will fall off of my chair and I will film it.
Well, Rock Cops currently has the lap record.
Yes.
Yeah, but we know that Nopec's gonna go and beat it. He
Yeah,
beat it in quali 1. So if
So we're just on board with Skylar Lovering as he goes through the final corner. I thank the two people who were in the dashboard having a look at it. So Skylar Lovering goes P2 behind Papano as he goes to set another lap. Michael Firth is going quite a bit quicker as well. I'm trying to find where is Mr. Nopec so we can see what Woody didn't qualify.
No, he failed to qualify last time as well with 3 laps. So he's done it again. He's gone out, but he's only managed to get 3 laps in, and he's not managed to get a time within those 3 laps. 8 minutes is not a long time.
No, but this is sprints. You can't have qualifying going on as long as the race.
Oh no.
Remember,
the thing about it is, at 11 degrees temperature, it's all about can you get your tyres up to temperature quick enough to actually put in a decent lap. If they thought about it previously, they could have set their tyres up to make sure
Keddy's gone
the temperatures
fastest.
were just right. Yes.
And I think he's gone out on the lowest amount of fuel that Keddy's probably ever gone out on, because he's just pulled off straight away from turn 1. So he sets a 33 full, which is the marker to aim for. Currently looking at Bjorn Dale, he's getting a slipstream down the straight at the minute. So that's hopefully going to improve his time down there. He's currently 0.5 of a second up. Minute and 7 in. I'm not sure. It potentially is Damien Wilk as Bjorn Dale runs very, very wide. Sky Lovering goes fastest with 33.2.
2 tenths fast.
Yeah, so 2.2.
So I think what the pro guys at the front, what you'll probably find they do is just what I was talking about there. They set the pressure so high that when they start their second lap, that they're at the right pressures. Meaning that they don't get a lot of laps because the tyres are going to go way overinflated.
Yeah.
But you get that 1 good lap, maybe 2 good laps in your 8 minutes.
On your fresher tyres. Interestingly, someone hasn't set a lap yet. Let's have a look at him cross the finish line as Thomas Nopec goes 34th to 2nd. So Nopec goes just under a tenth of a second, well, 200ths of a second behind Skylar Lovering. So maybe Skylar is fancying his chances this time around. Melka Garby's currently in P4 behind Marco Keddy. Senadores in 6th. First 7th, Kish 8th, O'Brien in 9th. Papano's time has only left him at 5th at the minute. Amir, where's Amir? Amir's still
He's
in.
still here. Yeah, he's still here.
It is Amir.
It's Stick and Veldman.
Yeah. Zach Delta.
So I wondered, how long has Veldman been with us? Does he know that there's 2 races?
Yes, he does. I think he might be slightly angry. So Michael Firth's going an awful lot quicker as another driver has gone in front of him. Sky Lovering is gone off the track and into the pit, so he won't be going any faster. Thomas Nopec is going faster and faster and faster as he always going through. So he said he's got DNF on Discord, or DC'd on Discord. Oh, well, he's still showing us in the lobby and he's going around the track.
He may have been one of the ones that came back in.
Yeah.
You said deliveries, so he may have been the one come back in.
Indeed. So
that possibly could have been when we went down to a 37 driver.
Yes. So Nopec goes fastest with a 33.032, and he still has another lap in him by the looks of it. Melka Garby's going a couple of tenths quicker as well. Anyone else on some big improvements around the grid? Goodway's currently in P15. He would fancy his chances going faster as well, as Stranvanella is going very, very slowly. Too slowly for my liking. What is he doing?
I'm going to presume Keddy's happy with the 2 laps he put in.
Yeah, so Stranvanella is, I assume, was trying to wait for a big gap in front of him to try and set his final lap. So let's hope he doesn't make any mistakes as he approaches the turn 1. So we've got 20 seconds left for drivers to cross the finish line. So Stramvanella goes through turn 1 and turn 2. He's still kept them as valid, hasn't made any big improvements, but it's good news that he hasn't invalidated that. Melka Garbi, just 20 seconds from the end of his lap. This will be his final attempt as the clock ticks to 0. So yes, new lap record indeed, Smiley, but we want faster. Melka Garbi going through the final corner now. Is this going to be an improvement? Is he going to get into the top 3 and displace either Keddy, Lovering or Nopek? Melka Garbi P4, P2. That's a great lap as Nopek's invalidated, so there will be no improvement from him. Nigel O'Brien crosses the line. He stays P5. Who else is playing? Who else wants to play? Amir has definitely not disconnected. He's just gone P19. Well done, Amir. Who else have we got? We got Kish. Zakdal's in P10. He's staying there. So we got Kish and Chris Schneider set in their final lap. So Demokos Kish with Chris Schneider following close behind. Kish is currently 2/10 down from his best lap. So that's currently aiming for a full 34-second time. So it's not going to improve his way, shape or form by any stretch of the imagination. So going quite slowly in the McLaren as he approaches the final 2 left-hand corners. You can see the lights of Chris Schneider in the distance as Kish goes into the pits. So Chris Schneider will be our final runner in the Porsche through the final corner. Chris Schneider, any improvement from him? We will wait and see as he crosses the line. And he goes into P12. So remains P12, sorry.
So in that run, Garby's actually 8 thousandths off of Nopek that time.
Yes, he is. I rather than try and distract me or get me confused, which is easily done, I'm just going to go front to back on the grid.
I shall do. Want me to do the thing again?
No, thank you. So in P1 we got Thomas Nopek, Melka Garbi P2, Lovering 3, Keddy 4, Nigel O'Brien 5, Michael Firth 6, Bjorn Dale 7th, Papano in 8th, Senador 9th, Alex Zakdal in 10th. From 11th to 20th, you've got Kish, Chris Schneider, Power, Fielder, Classens, Dave Goodway, Stramvanella, Gavin Taylor, Amir, and Blanchette. From 20th to 30th, you've got Damien Wilk, Tice Payne, Alan Brown, Harry Hottie, Gunter, Black Magic, Ian Thompson, Chesney Salazar, Stefano Barato, and Raki in P30. Then you've got Barry Gibbons, Andrea Brodetto in 32nd, Vitali 33rd, Mario Morano, Simon Turno, Marco in P36, Chris Sauter 37, and bringing up the rear is Mr. Woodward. So P1 in the AMS is Papano, P2 is Fielder, and Classens is 3, but that is 8th, 14th, and 15th on the grid.
Yeah, Woody's not having a good Misano. He started at the back twice now after not being able to get a lap time in on the qualifying. He finished in 35th, which was actually last place in race 1.
Well,
so he'll be hoping that he has a better race than race 2.
I think
even though he's still at the back.
I think he's going to go for the AMS tier for next season. So let's have a he's not far off it. He's only 4.6 driver rating off. Going into the AMS, his last.
He's desperate to get that first championship, isn't he?
He is
the only driver in AM.
Yeah. So let's have a look. Just
out of curiosity, how many AMs do we actually have?
117.
117. So that's mostly new people that haven't really put in much laps, then, right?
Yes, or let me bring up.
No.
Let me bring up my sheet. So I want to pick the right sheet. So where's my calculation sheet? There we go. So
maybe a question for podcast as well. We can go
yeah.
through that when we're doing the ratings.
So this is the PC ones and PC only. So if you have a driver rating above 60, then you go into Pro. 45, you're in Silver. 30, it's Pro or Pro and Am, and above 0, then you're in Am. If you do on your Barcelona hot stints, if you're faster than 44, you're in Pro. 45, you're in Silver. 47, you're in Pro Am. If you're faster than 2 minutes, then you get an Am time. For Spa, it's 2:18.5 for Pro, 2:20 for Silver, 2:22.5 or under 3 minutes. Essentially, you're an Am. So for the number of drivers, this is my lovely sheet. This is the total number of drivers who would be classified as an AM driver. So overall, there's 133, but there's 117 in the server.
Right.
So that's just a little insightful trip into what I play with in dark rooms.
And obviously in the AMs as well, with the next year.
Well,
So he's on a lot more DNFs in the last 10 days than previous as well, isn't he?
so DNFs wise, we're doing a dissemination of Mr. Neil Woodward.
Yes.
So
he won't mind.
So he's done
he'll
97 races and 13 of them have been DNFs.
Oof. Considering last week, I think he was 11. Quite a few.
So last 2 races, his driver rating has been 22.5 and 9.1.
Oh no, that's the last 10 races, right?
No, so his last 10 races, his average driver rating is 42.5.
Right. Now, that was a question I had. Are the roles decided by your overall rating or your last 10 races?
Overall, because I can't figure out how to do that that one on the dynamic one based on mass. I can do it individually.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I can't figure out the formula to do it on mass.
Okay, so we're still kind of messed up. We'll be pro-am for the rest of our lives.
Unless I have the ability to not have a job and FRL pays me, yeah.
Yeah.
FRL pays you?
Well,
no, if
The-
FRL pays me, then if FRL can pay me the equivalent of my salary, I'll sit and play with Discord all day.
Yeah, I can probably tell you that's not going to happen with the
You can never
contracts
show
that
it away.
you can run.
The thing is, you can never throw it away.
What do you mean?
What?
You can never say that you can't earn a living from it. Like, I never thought my channel would be massive, and then I upload one video literally yesterday, and in a day I've near on like tripled my views of like my previous video, and I'm like,
right,
where
we
is
are
that all come
just about to start the race. So we've got Nopec P1, McGarby 2, Lovrink 3, Keddy 4, O'Brien 5, and we are on your marks, get set, go! So we need 220k more patrons, according to Smiley. So Nopec once again pulls away. Oh, that was almost very, very close to the back of Garby from Skylar Lovrink. Skylar Lovrink is trying to go around the outside. Little bit of contact there, but Lovrink is definitely putting the pressure on. Keddy's moved up into P4, still in P4. O'Brien 5. Where's Senadori? Senadori is P9. What happened there?
Not sure. He qualify high up?
Well, it's saying he hasn't lost any position since the start of the race, but there's contact between Senadori and Alex Zakdal. Zakdal's going to be fast to be getting a reputation.
Yeah, Senatore qualified in 9th.
Yeah, wow. Something's
So
gone
he
wrong there.
didn't have the best of qualifying.
No, so Skylar Loverink's under pressure from Marco Keddy for P3. Bjorn Dale wants to be on stream again, as he often does. He's putting pressure on Floppy Fox into P6, so we're going to stay on board on that. But it looked as though everyone got away pretty cleanly from the start.
There was
didn't see any yellow flags or upsetting what's going on.
Or upset things. Oh, that's progress.
Yes.
Michael Firth, currently P6, DNF last race, will be wanting to put some points, scores on the doors What
Balls doors.
balls doors. So Michael is starting to get away from Bjorn Dale. We've got Keddy and Lovering and O'Brien, who are going at it down towards turn 1. Keddy thinks about it, decides against it. Probably wise as they go through turn 2. So Sky Lovering in the Ferrari gets his nose down and starts accelerating away. So that is the end of lap 1, and I can't remember any major instance as Bjorn Dale and Papano and Senadore are going at it. As it looks as though Papano's managed to get past Bjorn Dale, and that's been 2 races coming. So he's just managed to get past Bjorn Dale. So Papano moves up into 7th. Turner's gone to the pits, so I'm not sure what's happened with him, as Bjorn Dale has cars swarming all over his rear end. He must have had something good yet this morning for breakfast.
Just looking around Turner's car, there is no damage, but we have another one in the pit lane, which is
If he's
Mr.
ported
Brizzle
to the pits, that damage has already been fixed.
Yeah.
Mr. Brizzle Dizzle hasn't got any damage either, so...
Oh, it's Brizzle in the pits as well.
Yeah. But the first lap and a half, there has been no major contact.
No, so Alex Zakdal is dropped down from P10 to P11. Senadore is dropped from 9 to 10. Dale and Papano still want to play. They're going at it hammer and tongue. Then you've got Lovering and Keddy and Nigel O'Brien. So we're going to flick towards that and see if we can see any potential moves into turn 1, because they're all very close as the Ferrari goes bouncy through the last corner. The BMW just kind of eats curves for breakfast.
Papano is miles ahead of Chris Fielder.
He is. So Fielder's in 12th with Chris Schneider and Stramvanella. Turner is dropping down the field after he ported to the pit. So Skylar Lovering is still ahead of Marco Keddy. Nigel O'Brien. Michael Firth has moved up to P5. So the SBR driver has moved up to P5. He's good jumped ahead of Nigel O'Brien. Papano in 7th, Dale 8th, Senadore 9th, Zakdal 10th, Chris Schneider 11th, putting a lot of pressure. So
Brizzle and Blanchett got together, and that's why Brizzle hit the wall and went pits. But while he was coming back on track onto the straight, he spun again. And that took out Turner on the main straight. So that's why the both are in the pits.
Interesting times. So something happens with Alex Zakdal in race 2.
Yes.
He doesn't like them, does he? Oh, Dale goes slippy slidey through the corner. He's trying to get his position back from Papano. So yeah, he doesn't have good times in race 2, does he?
No, he gets a bit silly and puts the wrong tyres on or messes up his setup. He's done it in every race so far this season, is it not?
Yeah, so this is race 4. I don't think he's had a great race 2. Fielder's putting pressure.
I wonder if it's excitement or whether it's just lack of concentration as he's getting ready for the next race.
We're on board with Stramvanella and Fielder. So Fielder's P2 in the AMS. Did Alex put the whole tyres on again, Sergio?
But that's just what we're discussing. Well. It's hard to know.
So we've had 3. I'm guessing 3 out of the race. I don't know. Alan Brown is just dropped. So I'm guessing.
So we've got Turner, Gibbons, and Brown all in the pits.
Yes, Turner, Gibbons, and Brown. I'll have a quick look to see what happened. Gibbons.
So we have our usual story of the evening. Mr. Nopek leads in P1. He's 2 seconds ahead currently of Melka Garby in P2. Melka can still see him. Skylar Lovering in P3, which is a bit of a change up. So Marco Keddy 4, Michael Firth having a good race in P5, Nigel O'Brien in P6, Papano in P7. But has the Mercedes of Bjorn Dale all over the back of him. But the roles have switched a little bit because Papano was the one chasing Dale in race 1, whereas Dale is now chasing Papano. So Smiley suggests that it's past.
Oh God. Okay, so sorry, carry on. I'll tell you what happened. Gibbons.
So Papano suggests. So Smiley suggests that it's past Alex's bedtime.
Yes, it could be.
So Dean Power is also right behind Bjorn Claessens. So Bjorn Claessens is probably not in the position he wants to be in. Well, he's P3 overall, P3 in the AMS. I thought he was lower down than that, but he's under pressure from Power, who is a pro driver, so he doesn't have to take the fight for too long. But we're all racing drivers. Well, some of us attempt to be race drivers, and we all know that we're not going to give up the position easily.
Yeah, so what happened to Gibbons was he comes into turn 1 and catches the little sausage and spins, at which point the front end of his car hits Badetto, which is just an unfortunate accident. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it spins him round. He goes to take off and gets in the way of Mariano and Thompson.
Have you seen?
Oh no! Woody spun on the on the straight.
And then as he comes back round to turn 3, he loses a car again, and at that point he takes out Blanchett.
Oh, so Blanchett's hadn't had the best of nights with drivers spinning in front of him.
No, so it's unfortunate. There's none of them that Gibbons is in control of.
Yeah.
But they're all very unfortunate. He's basically hit about 6 or 7 cars all in the space of a couple of turns. So
nice.
He obviously decided it was time to go to the pits and retire.
Go hard or go home. So Senatore is crawling all over the back of Bjorn Dale. Papano is crawling over the back of Nigel O'Brien. Firth is having a nice chilled out 5th place at the minute. And we've also got a lot of drivers in the midfield. He came across from Luke Looney, came across from PlayStation. But no, he shouldn't be an AM. But his rating at the end of the season will show that. And then he'll be promoted probably to pro. Vincenzo Senatore, P9. He needs to climb through the field as quickly as possible, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, if you tune in on the podcast next week, Lenny, we're going to have a nice conversation about how the driver rating works and how we put people in the roles.
Yeah, I also might. So we I'll just reiterate again. We posted a feedback or a survey in the Discord server in the announcement. If anyone has any questions, I'll go through the list of questions in the podcast as well, and we can. Ooh, that was close. We can endeavour to provide some responses to those as well. So yeah, we'll have a go. So Bjorn Claessens.
You could read all of my answers. I've got the best answers on there.
I'm going to keep them anonymous to who raised them.
What?
Huh?
No, don't say that.
Good, keep it that way.
Yeah.
So
you're not CEO anymore.
No, well, I'm not. No. Yeah. Good night, everyone. So Bjorn Dale is trying to get back past Papano in front, and also is under pressure from Senatore behind. So Smiley says my answers were a test and they're on the sheet. Haha. So yes. So
let's hope it wasn't a big F.
It wasn't, but there is some stuff on there which is yet to be revealed to everyone else. However, plans are in place, so we are planning what's happening next season.
Me and Briz and a few others were having a conversation before the race about a one-off series, one-off race that would be quite fun. And
put in your suggestions. Have you filled out your survey?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't. But
Sorry.
It was a good idea. Basically, I've been doing some stuff for my work, making a livery, and they want to print it out. So I've been spending the last 2 days making this livery, and I thought, I found a photo with one of the cars on track, and it looked quite good with like the rain, like the spray effect coming off the rear bump, like off the rear wing, that sort of thing. So I thought I'll try that. And custom weather, wetness 100%, puddles 100%.
Yeah, and you'll get a grand total of about 4 people turn up for that race.
It was safe to say the wettest condition track I have ever been on.
I've been wanting to drive in a series like that forever, but nobody ever wants to do it.
We said this to Katie, and Katie said, I'm going to jump in the comms box, and then they were like, why don't Ryan do drift points for a one-off race that you got points for drifts. So that would have been quite funny, but I don't know if you're watching, Senatore has just made a move on Dale.
Yeah, so he has got past. They're going side by side through the straight that's not a straight into the right-hander. Hopefully no contact, but it looks as though Senatore has made that move. So Smiley says he's busy or ill that night. I agree. I don't think you're going to get many people attending that one.
So Keddy came off the long fast section and went right off track, took a big old chunk out his time, so I think you'll have a track limit there. You'll be having to watch that next time round.
So Bjorn Claessens has Power and Goodway behind. So Goodway currently P17 overall, but P14 in the Pro. So he's having a good little race. I think it's safe to say. He's challenging Power as well for that position. So the Porsche, as we've seen from Woody, is quite temperamental here. Some days it's great in the slow stuff, but not very good in the quick stuff. Stranvanella in P12, looking all over the back of Daniel Krishnaida into the hairpin. Krishnaida defends the inside line. Stranvanella's going to try and go the long way around the outside or potentially the undercut, but Krishnaida defends the racing line quite nicely. Stranvanella remains in P12.
Just been keeping an eye on Varner. He is flying, and he should be in Pro.
Yes,
he is just absolutely decimated Fielder in this second race. Fielder is like about 10 seconds behind him, if that. Oh no, it's closer than that actually. I thought it was a lot further.
He's all over the back of Stranvanella, but the other thing you got to try and remember, Papano is fighting Michael Firth, Senatore, Nigel O'Brien, Keddy. Senatore, who are...
I genuinely thought that was Skylar Lovering, but no, it is Michael Firth, but Exactdale's been given a drive-through.
Oh, race 2 curse strikes again.
So that would drop him down to about P25. Actually no, it'll be further than that. He'll be probably dropping down to P30.
I think Zach needs to stick to races that are one race only.
Yeah, do the hour endurance. Hour sprint, whatever, hour...
It does well on the endurance, considering that would be classed as getting in the car for a second time, third time, fourth time.
Yeah.
I think it's when you get in a car and do 25 minutes and then you get out, do a 5-minute quali and then you get back in.
Yeah.
It plays with your senses. Whereas
Schneider's going side by side with Stranvanella. So Stranvanella's managed to get past him into P11. Chris Schneider's fighting back. They're going side by side through the through the right hander. Chris Schneider has indeed moved back up into P11. Sorry, I thought I'd better talk about the racing.
I think it would be. I think when you're doing endurance, is one thing that I noticed when I done the 12 hour on my own.
Drive through for Brondale.
Oh
no!
Drive through for Filthy Fox.
No!
And he's straight in. He saw it come up and he's like, I'm not gonna same with that, I'm going in.
No, not Floppy Fox.
Yeah. Three in short succession. And they're all in the pitch just now along each other.
Yeah, Firth, Dale and Zachdale are all in the pitch.
Does he have a new nickname, Mr. Firth? Should it be the Messy Cat?
The Messy Cat.
So,
he was doing fine, the cat jumped on his steering wheel and made him go offline.
So
that'd be his excuse this week.
So, Sergio said, well, he hasn't DNF'd yet.
No.
Oh, floppy fox. So Stramvanella
no.
is so Chris Schneider and Stramvanella have all been promoted. So Chris Schneider is now in 8th, Stramvanella 9th, Fielder 10th, Kish in 11th, Classens in 12th. And that, so you got
Yeah, so the 3 of them are all coming out now.
Papana is jumped up to P6 and he's
Yes,
just
he
been
has.
tapped by Senatore! Oh no!
no.
The commentator's curse!
Oh,
Senatore
no.
is backwards!
Oh,
Senatore
stop and
could
go.
lose.
Stop and go for John Dale.
Oh.
Spend the victory
Oh
drive through.
no!
And if you ever want to stick a knife in someone's back,
Yeah.
that is it. But Papano is still going in P6, so he's lost a position to O'Brien. Senador is now in P9.
He
So
didn't lose a place to anyone. He was actually behind O'Brien. Senatore was coming up behind him into the corner before the long straight and just outbraked himself and rear-ended Papana. But the biggest loss out of that was Senatore. He's dropped 3 positions.
yeah, so he's back where he qualified in P9. So we've got a bit of a train going on as well. So we've got Schneider, Stramvanella, Senadore, Fielder, Kish, and Classens is not too far. So so Luke Looney says Nigel O'Brien was 5th before all that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's still 5th.
Beyond Dale, I think he's meaning.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I think you mean.
Yeah, Bjorndale was ahead of Papana before the drive-through.
Yeah.
So I can see Firth has come out in P20th. Zachdale 21st. Dale is in 31st. So he's the biggest hurt from all that.
He is in the pit lane now doing that stop and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Lenny maybe thought when we were talking about Bjorn, we meant O'Brien.
Ah, right.
But
Okay.
O'Brien's still in 5th place, so.
So yeah,
I'm
we,
just
not
going
had
to
a
look
change.
back at the replay because I did see him absolutely fly through the pit lane.
well, he's lucky he didn't get DSQ then, like we
Yeah.
did last week at Indy.
Yeah, that's it.
So Stramvanella is in less than half a second behind Daniel Schneider. The Ferraris are definitely motoring around Misano tonight.
I think he realised that he had exceeded the speed limit because he stopped.
Yeah, hoping.
Yeah, so he realised that he'd gone too fast. Came to a complete stop to see if he could, because it's a time thing from start to finish. But he had just gone so fast that he wasn't unable to do it.
I don't know because he was in the stop. He may have been level.
Oh, he may have thought it was you can't refuel. But he may have thought it was
yeah, true.
he may have thought it was a stop and go.
Oh, Stramvanella had a little bit of a look at the inside of Schneider. He's going to get the run coming out of the corner, and Stramvanella is looking to move back up in P6. Schneider gets back in front of Stramvanella somehow, but all this is doing is opening the door for Senatore. Senatore is just trying to go down on the grass by the looks of things. Senatore backs out, Schneider still comes out in P7, and it all goes. We've got a car off in the distance. I'm not sure. I think Classens.
Classens and Kish.
Oh.
Yeah, Classens and Kush.
So it is still Chris Schneider, Stramvanella, Senadori, and Fielder wants to come and play too. Classens is not facing the right. Hopefully he's back going now, but
He is.
Stramvanella, I don't think this fight is over. We've still got 4.5 minutes left of this race. The fight at the front is closer than last time, but not very close.
Yeah.
So 4.7 seconds. Lovrink is behind Garby, Keddy, and then O'Brien. But this fight for P7 is heating up. It's warmer than the
David
track
Goodway's
temperature.
bringing himself in the back as well. He's currently in 12th.
Yeah.
Just
this
catching
battle-
up to the back of them.
If this battle carries on, Damien Wilkes and the boys behind him could join this battle, and it could be what would it be? A
non-DRS train.
Seven-way battle?
That would be a 9-way battle.
Yeah.
Not a non-DNS train. DRS train, sorry. So Stramvanella, is he going to try and send it round the outside? Chris Schneider defends the inside line. Senatore closes back in again as they go for the double right-hander. They'll move on to the straight now after this left-hander.
Contact!
Contact!
No!
Oh dear.
Yeah, Chris Schneider.
Chris Schneider came out working that
Senadore's
one.
going to try and go and send it on Strampanella.
Oh, we have another drive-through on track limits, which is T-Pen.
Oh, that's unfortunate for him. So Strampanella and Senadore going side by side into the right-hander. Senadore should have the better run coming out of it, but the corner's taken better by Strampanella. I'm not. I saw the side by side. I couldn't instantaneously figure out who's to blame for that one. But Senadore and Strampanella going side by side. Senadore's trying to abuse the track limits as much as possible. Brakes a bit early, which is but Strampanella getting squigglier and squigglier and squigglier. Senadore still all over the back of him. Then you got Fielder, Power, Goodway is in 11th place. Chris Schneider's dropped to 12th. So Strampanella still leads this train. Senadore wants to get P7 to kind of minimise as much damage as possible. Strampanella still heading up this train. Last time round for Fielder's got in front of Power as well by the looks of things.
Oh, that's a shame for Chris Schneider there. He was on for his best result in the pros, and just a shame.
And still going side by side with Damien Wilk. Damien Wilk has passed him. Chris Schneider drops now to P13, so I'm not sure what damage he has onto his car.
He's got some severe front end.
Yeah, head on right into that wall. He's going to have some damage on him.
But looking at Strampanella, he is holding off Senadore, and that is amazing because Senadore should be up at the front.
Power's going to send it down into the corner, and the Wizmotor Sport car does indeed get past Chris Fielder. But again, these two don't need to fight. Goodway though might want to pass
he
Fielder
needs to keep
himself.
up with that lot.
Yeah. So Goodway is less than half a second behind Fielder. Let's have a look from the rear wing of the Aston Martin versus Aston Martin fight. Senadore is now back on the rear wing. Leaders on the final lap. Strampanella and Senadore.
I think Payne might just go for the last lap, and no, he's got to come in this lap. He can't wait till the last one and take the penalty. He's going to have to come in.
Oh, right. So he
for his drive-through, he's on his last lap for his drive-through.
Right.
But he has one more lap that he would have to drive in the race, so he must come in, or he'll get disqualified.
So Nopek is on his final tour of the track. We're on board. We're looking at David Goodway versus Chris Fielder for 10th place overall. But again, this will be 8th place. David already has 8th place, and Fielder already has 2nd place with Gunter in P3, Taylor in P4, Hottie 5, Vitali 6, Sauter in 7th. I'm not sure how far. Oh,
Goodway's messed up.
Yeah, he's messed up, but he's still going.
Yep.
Oh, that's the end of that battle.
You can see the whole underbelly of his car.
We can, and Strampanella's got away from Senadore. So we've got.
He's in front of him.
Zagdell is challenging Harry Hottie.
Yep, so there's disqualification for Payne for not finishing for going over the finish line and not doing his.
Zagdell goes send mode and makes his way up to P19. So, I thought that was our winner there. So our winner is once again Thomas Nopek, who finishes P1. Ignore Payne, but Nopek leads from start to finish once again. Melka Garby claims P3, Skylar Lovering P4, Keddy 4, Nigel O'Brien in 5th, Papano wins the AMS in 7th position. Strampanella, Strampanella then in 7th, Senadore in 8th, Dean Power in 9th, Chris Fielder in 10th, P2 in the AMS, David Goodway in 11th, Raccoons Damien Wilk in P12, Gunter in P13. Amir climbed through the grid very, very nicely.
Warden Dale was just crossed the line, drifting.
Nice. So Amir claims P14, Chris Schneider It claims P15. He might not be too happy with the contact. Again, not quite sure who was to blame for that one. Gavin Taylor in P16. Michael Firth, disappointed with his drive-through, but he claims P17. Alex Zachtel climbs back up to 18th position. Harry Hottie 19th. Vitali in 20th. Sauter 21st. Barato 22nd. Black Magic.
That couldn't change.
Hmm?
Barretto could change because he's got a 30-second penalty, 2 races in a row, so
Nice.
he could drop down to P29.
Well,
But Ryan Blanchett had a shocking race.
well, he got
taken
twice.
out in the early on, remember?
He did. That's a shame for him.
Um,
I was right. Barretto did drop out massively. Finished P28.
Well, we'll have a quick check of that in a minute. So we got Kish, Budetto, Ian Thompson 26th, Woodward 27th, Raki in 28th, Blanchett claimed 29th, then we got Marco in 30th, Bjorn Dale 31st, Classens 32nd, and then we got Morano, Brown, Turner, Gibbons all finished in the pits. So, I think something needs to be said about our not an AM driver, Papano.
Yes. There's a few of them there. I think Fielder is up there with it. And although you didn't see much of it tonight, Classens has just had some bad run of it. He's quick up there as well.
Absolutely. But once again, race 2, the start was a lot better than race 2 last week.
Yes, race 2 to this week definitely was a lot smoother. There wasn't as much instance as the first race there.
No, but they goes to show that these drivers can battle side by side. Yeah, there was a few incidents, a few twitchy moments, but there was also some great side by side battling.
And it was nice to see as well. So in the first race, Nopek finished 25 minutes and 15 seconds. Was Garby 9 seconds behind. By the time they got to the second race, Nopek had done 25 minutes and 10 seconds, but Garby was only 5 seconds behind him. So constantly learning these drivers as well, and finding new ways to get around the car.
The lap record as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so a new lap record which I'll be updating shortly in my wonderful world of spreadsheets. So, sorry, I was just
32.897. Wow.
I was just responding to an email, a work email, which I probably shouldn't be doing right about now. So that is round 4 at Misano. We go again on Thursday in the rookies. Friday brings us Pure Sim Gear Pure Sim Gear GT3 Friday. I need some sleep. I'm not sure about you guys.
I'm gonna go get some tea.
I've been eating the whole time. I've been eating chocolate buttons.
Yes, we could hear you.
So tonight has been a busy one. We had the return of the podcast, so thank you very much. So congratulations to Adam Kayla, who claims the first £5 of the rejuvenated podcast. We've been going. We beat JR's record, 2 hours and 47 minutes.
Well, yeah, don't say that though, because then you'll have to come back on. You'll want to do it. But I think mostly what's happened here is the fact that we gunned the race as well.
Yes, I know.
Podcast technically was an hour. Because you know what will happen? He'll be texting me in the morning saying, I'm coming back on, we're going to do a 6-hour podcast.
Well, that's that's sorted for Monza. Right. So, thank you everyone who has tuned in. Thank you once again, Ryan and Derek, for your support, emotional support. I'm going to go play with some spreadsheets. I wish you all a good night. So, good night, Ryan.
Good night.
I'll catch you later, my friend.
Good night, Derek.
Good night.
Night.